Hello, hello. Hey, Kailando. Welcome back after almost 2 years. Hey, Jane. All right, let's get to it. Add UID files. And hey, dang good games. I know, I know. I mean, it's totally fine. I just, whenever I see a name early in the morning where I haven't seen them in a while, I'm always like, how long has it been? Schedule changes, you know how that goes? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, button strings. I think there's also a bunch of dialogue stuff I need to be looking into. Yeah. And the buttons of those might be a little harder to find. I gotta go to take a look at this. Hey, Yonsen. Hope I'm not holding the record. No, no, no. In terms of distance from messages. The only weird thing is your only message back then was one emote. So, yeah. Okay. So we got to go find something like okay or maybe later. I think, yeah, there's a bunch of button stuff. I want this in its own file. So I will do this here. Well, I already have, do I have dialogue strings? I do have dialogue strings. Okay, we'll do that. What are we talking about? Oh, just length of time between messages. Hey, Packer. Someone's still working setting that record? Are you already a year and a half? Alert. Well, yeah, I see. Sorry, I was trying to process the second part of this message. I'm not totally sure I get it. And what you called while I'm doing work. Okay, yeah, not totally sure. But yeah, yeah, yeah. Also, there are lots of lurkers. Like I said, there was just an idle comment. It's not meant to call anybody out. Managed from 2018 to 2025. I win. There's got to be someone who's had even longer than that, I guess, in between messages. Not that it really should be a contest because it'd be a bad contest. Go watch your code. Gotcha. Yeah. Hey, Xyletics. Happy Tuesday. Okay, so we are going to turn all the buttons in the game into strings that exist in this file. Ideally, I can just search for this and find them all. But yeah, that's what's going to be what we do today for all this stuff. Isn't that fun? Oh, there aren't that many of these. Maybe there should be more of them. So AI translation of Skeletor today? No, I don't think so. I think that's probably going to happen some other time, possibly tomorrow. I think we have enough things to get through on the to-do list that we won't be able to actually start any AI stuff today. But who knows? Maybe we can. I think what I'm doing right now is going to take like half an hour. Then this will probably take half an hour. And that might not be too long. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it works. I usually lurk and then I have more talkative periods. Yeah. Like I said, this is all fine. Hey, Kevin. Sorry about the yapping. How much is Jump Royale? How much is winning that? Hey, Trackley. And hey, Singular Coffee. Do you read books? So I tend to listen to books. I do read occasionally. I've been working my way through Game of Thrones. I have like one chapter left of the first book. And I both read and listened to this one. But yeah, I don't technically own a Kindle myself. My wife does. And she uses it more often than me. And I think reading on an e-reader is way better than physical books for me. And I just don't want to buy my own e-reader. Okay, so let's just do this one by one. So this is the upgrade button. Do we ever have this anywhere else in the game? No. Do I want to... Oh, what happened? My monitor just went off. It's not the stream. Okay. Okay, so public static string upgrade button. So this just takes in string cost. Yeah. And we're going to do this. What is the problem here? Missing translate and game constants. All right, so this will be the upgrade button. dialog strings dot upgrade button by cost. Oh, wait a sec though. This should be the combination of these two things. So that all we have to do is plug in the string. I wonder if I should just have that taken a gold amount. I probably should. Yeah, I probably should. So what is by cost? It's a long. I guess we'd have to be a number. I'm not going to deal with this right now. We'll deal with this later. Yeah, this looks fine for now. So then we delete this from here. And this, and this, and this. Good. And now we just do that another 100 times. Top tier remote. Yeah, I really like that one. You've been using Godot for a good while now. What's your verdict? I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah. I don't feel like Godot is getting in the way. Now, I recognize there's a big difference between not getting in the way and actively helping you with your project. I do think Godot is helping, and I think, I don't know, I generally like it. I like the ideas behind it. I like the people who are working on it, that sort of thing. So yeah, I'd probably continue to use it for future games. All right, so the maybe later button is one of the biggest ones here that we're going to have repeated. Public static string maybe later. And we're going to use that here. Dialog strings maybe later. And we're going to use it in a bunch of other places. So that should be done. This is going to be upgrade button. We're going to pass in all of that. Get the maybe later button. Cool. Yeah, working my way through all this stuff. Then we have the same thing but for build. There. And that goes here. Dialog strings dot build button. Cost string. We don't use this cost string anywhere else, do we? Huh, no. We don't. So I could just put this in there. I think it's fine either way. And then a maybe later button. Sounds good. Only watched it 364 days. Is the Twitch rewind thing already out? Is that what's going on? I didn't see this anywhere. They usually email about it. All right, story mode and play game. Let's go get those. This is story mode button and play game button. I think I should probably have a thing here. I18N. This is what the story mode button will say before the player has unlocked bone mode. Okay. So now we got to go plug those in with the right strings. It's story mode capitalized and play game capitalized. Okay. Story mode and play game. I mean, it makes sense based on when I name the variables, but the capitalization wouldn't have necessarily been obvious. Okay, so now this is going to be story mode button. And this is going to be the play game button. Perfect. Okay. I just saw a banner on the website. Oh boy, let's look at mine publicly. Streamer, let's take a look at that. Hours streamed 1,000, about 300 streams. Distinct days 185, hours watched 84,000. Top categories. I streamed in Skelezilla for a little while. Okay, this was an unusual year. If I hadn't done Next Fest, like at least I probably would have only had 3 categories. Top stream reached 3,000 viewers. 121,000 chats received. Man, the difference between, like, my emote usage is very low. Your biggest fan, Matt. And a bunch of other people. Raids received 194. Wow. This is pretty cool they show this. I think they should show this just throughout the year. I think that would also be good. Who'd you raid? Interesting. Raid sent 173. Okay, I almost sent as many raids as I received. The thing is, I can only send a maximum of this, 297 raids. And I did it about 2/3 of the time. Wow, 3,000 new followers, 500 new subscribers. Crazy. All right, well, my viewer one. I feel like I haven't really been watching a lot of Twitch. Also, why is this gigantic? Oh, so the Twitch chat can be larger. Oh man, I don't like this at all. I want this to be smaller. Let's just scroll down to the bottom and see. 745 hours. That can't be right. Oh, I think a lot of this is me having Redbeard stream open while I'm doing something else. Yeah. Top categories. Most use the mode. Redbeard's face. Okay, well, that's it. Oh man. All right, well, thanks for sharing. That's a good emote. Yeah, I like that one. For anyone who hasn't seen it, it's that. It's so goofy to me. All right, open upgrades, start anyway. I should probably close out of these things. Open upgrades button. How is this capitalized? Yeah, both letters. And then start anyway. This shows when you're told that you have unspent upgrade points, and this button will let you start the game without spending them. All right, so open upgrades, dialog strings dot open upgrades, and the start anyway one down here. And then unspent upgrade points is the title of the dialog. Unspent upgrade points. Oh my God, what is wrong with my typing right now? That is not capitalized like that. Dialog strings dot unspent. Cool. Hey, yourself. Does it have 2.2K hours watched? Must have streams tabbed. Yeah. I think this happens with a lot of different long form media, like games or maybe TV shows, but yeah, Twitch streams too, where people will just sort of AFK or leave something open and it counts toward your time because they don't know that you're not watching or not consuming something. Now, that said, you can probably figure out kind of on average, like how often does that happen for you? You know, how often do you like step away from your computer and you just leave streams running, for example? Or how many times are you multitasking? Because I find that I'm rarely just watching a Twitch stream. That's probably true for a lot of people. You're doing something else at the same time. All right, new game, continue game. We don't have those. Let's get those here. New game. Continue game. A lot of these only show up in one place, so I don't know if there's really a point in me doing this. Saved game fountain. Yeah, like, is this worth it? Probably not. Probably only if I'm going to reuse these things. Well, let's just take a look. Does new game show up anywhere else? Nope. Yeah, I don't think this is a worthwhile idea. So let's go delete those things. It's only when I reuse something that I should probably put it in here. In fact, I should probably look through all of these and see, like, yeah, this only shows up in one spot. Yeah, there's just no point. I'll put this back to where it was. Oh man, I don't know what's with my typing. Open upgrades button. This is probably the same thing. Yeah, I should have just thought about this a little bit more before doing it. Okay, so that's gone too. Start anyway, same thing. Kind of weird to just undo the work I just did. Yeah. We could maybe keep this comment there. Doesn't like when you do things this way. Second most popular category is WoW. Never watched WoW, but I probably fell asleep watching Twitch and got forwarded with a raid or something. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really watch the finals, but I play the finals and there are Twitch drops. And for those who don't know, the way that Twitch drops works is that you get items in a game, but you have to like watch X hours of a stream. And the finals does this pretty frequently. So they'll have like an item that you get after watching 4 hours. So like I don't care about watching these streams. I just leave it open. and as a result, I've got probably like 20 hours worth of watching the finals, even though I don't watch it. I think the idea is pretty interesting because from a game developer perspective, it's like, hey, let's bump you up in the Twitch category by doing something pretty easy to do. And from a viewer perspective, it's like you get something for it. And from the streamer perspective, they get more viewers. So it kind of benefits everybody. Actually, I'm not totally sure how it benefits Twitch exactly. Maybe it gets more people on the platform who otherwise wouldn't have watched. Is this worth it? Nope. Discard all the changes. Well, in this case, I just should have thought about this a tiny bit longer because some of these things are worth it. Like maybe later is going to show up in 14 different places in the code base. So this one's totally fine to do. But these other ones I just didn't think about and I really shouldn't have done this. Yeah, I'll just click revert over here. It's going to be faster. So story mode and play game. All right. Yeah, let's just keep going. So I'll search for buttons. So I don't care about these. I looked through all of these already. Nothing else here matters. Good. Dismiss almost certainly is going to be used in multiple places. Let's take a look. Oh, no. It's the dialogue shows up in multiple places. But the string only shows up in one. All right. Level up. Maxed out. Yeah, I don't care about that stuff. Build. Oh, this one we already did. Dialogue strings dot build button. All right, buy perk. Those have 2 different costs. Why is this a problem now? Why is this red? Oh. No, this is the analyzer messing up, isn't it? Oh no, it's I forgot to put the 0 here. Oh man. Or the formatting thing. Wow, nice. The analyzer caught a problem. Huh, cool. That's why we have it. Which means this is also a problem. Wow. Yeah. Hey, Pickle. Hey, Atomic Man. Got some goodies I wouldn't buy otherwise in Albion Online. Yeah, yeah. I like the idea. And at least in the finals, you're not getting anything functional. So it's like, do you want a different hat? Do you want a different coat? Do you want a different whatever gun skin? So if you missed out on them, it's like, whatever. All right, here's the maybe later one. I definitely want this in dialogue strings. Okay, sounds like it's pretty common. Is it though? We don't have it here already. I should probably rename that to button. Okay, button. All right, so it shows up in 2 places at least. Dialogue strings.okay button. Anything else? Just this one. All right, and that's everything. Okay, I think that's pretty nice. I think what this should do now is cut down on how many of these button instances show up here. So if we search for this, oh no, it won't do that. It'll change how many times, yeah, it'll change this from happening, which will cut down on the number of lines because now it'll only show up in 1 file. Yeah. And then what else was I going to do? Oh yeah, changes to have button in the name. All right, so let's try running. I think that's it. I think that should be fine. If there are any other buttons, though, we should probably go find those and make sure they're categorized correctly. It might be a little difficult to do that, but I think we can just search for every place that we spawn a dialogue. It won't be exhaustive, but it's maybe close enough. All right, so how do we spawn a dialogue? Oh, no. Okay, well, I guess we can search for options : that should hopefully find it. Upgrade button text looks good. Yeah, so none of these are even translated. Thankfully, it's pretty easy to do that. All right, what's the problem here? Cannot reference the non-static field. Oh, I see. We should just define this down there. Yeah. So now there's going to be an issue here. Okay, so dialog data, confirmation. I want to put exactly what we had before. And then rename this to this. And same thing here. This is going to be dialog descriptions. Is that a thing? Yes. And then title. Dialog titles. Cool. I think we're good. Okay. What else? So this one's looking fine. This one is now fine. Okay, so let's X out of those. This one, good. Those are good. Those are good. Yep. This one's not fine. I'm doing well. I feel, I don't know, a little off today. If my typing is this botched already, it's probably not going to get better. But we'll see. Maybe I'm still waking up. What is this? This is a button. Title is going to be that. Text set via code. That's fine. We need to do this for all of these. Yeah, that's good. This is translate dialog descriptions. Come on, type it out. Don't make me type things, AI. What do I pay you for? Do all of these have the same title of just quest? Apparently they do. In which case, I should probably put that into dialog strings. Quest dialog title. Quest. Cool. Now go use that from over here. Dialog strings dot that. All right, what else? What else? What else? What else? Sorry, save files from older versions, blah, blah, blah. I don't really think this needs to be translated. That one's fine. This is also fine. The file storing mode runs out of date. We never wrote code to fix this, but your old data is still around. Okay, sure. All right, so that's looking good. Now what else? That's fine. That's probably fine. Yeah. Oh, all the NPC text I gotta go fix. All right, what options do we have here? Options are always blank. What is this thing? Get dialogue data. Hire adventure. What? Oh, here it is. Hire text. Yeah, this is correct. Okay, cool. I can purchase treasure chests for you. Okay, so this should be translated. What is this thing? It's a game state. So this is going to be dialogue descriptions. Need to use lambdas to get the text. Yeah. Fun stuff, right? Toggle text. This isn't translated either. Now it is. Okay, cool. And the final one is this. But there are many of these such examples, like change auto purchasing. What's this in game state? So we need another using translate. All right, so translate this. This is a button. Translate that, dialog description. Dismiss option title. Wait, this existed in two different places. I guess I didn't do this correctly then? No, I did not. Dialog strings. Dismiss dialog button. Dismiss. So now everywhere that we had a dismiss string, we need to go change. Yeah. Hey, Cruddlefish. Welcome in. All right, what is this? This is the option. This is not the string that shows up. So this one's fine. But none of these are fine. Dialogue strings, dismiss. Yeah, we got to do this everywhere. I should just copy paste the whole thing to make this easier. Don't care about this one. And that's it. Okay, cool. Moved to watching on YouTube. Nice. Yeah. You know, one of the things that I think is remarkably different from before, I streamed for about 5 years, and in that time got something like 30,000 followers. And then I streamed most recently for about 2 years and got like 5,000 followers. So the number of followers, just in terms of me doing what I'm normally doing, has drastically changed. Now, granted, you can never really totally trust follower numbers. It's possible for people to bot these. I actually looked at someone the other day on Twitch who had like just over 10,000 followers. It was like 10,024 or something like that. And I went and looked through Sully Gnome, and on one day they got exactly 10,000 followers. And so it's like, okay, well, that's almost certainly not legitimate. You change the fields and dialogue strings to be lambdas too. I don't think they have to be lambdas because they're already accessed dynamically. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how that works. But let's go test it. So if I open up the game, this is going to be a multi-step process here. Hey, hard worker. There's a bot epidemic in Twitch right now. I don't think there ever hasn't been a bot problem, and pretty much for any user-generated content site. All right, so here we go. So saved game found. Let's just search for that. Saved game found. Well, let's find something with maybe later on it. Maybe later button. All right, what's the easiest one to get to? Here. Okay, good. Yeah, so all we have to do is make a new game and click this. It says maybe later. So now we go and... Interesting. My computer shut down for some reason. I think it was... I think the power went out last night. So how do I do this? Generate. Okay, then we go into the Spanish file here. We search for maybe later. We find one of these and we turn it into Spanish. And now we rerun this. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I tested this before. Not in dialogue strings, but somewhere else. So this says maybe later. Now we change to Spanish. And... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Still says maybe later. Wait, I tested this with something. Did I use a different style for doing this? Oh, maybe this gets saved for some specific things, in which case it wouldn't even call that function again. Where is that? That's in the recycler. Maybe later. I don't even see maybe later in here. No, it's for a signpost. Signpost. Recycler sign. Okay, these get initialized just once. So we don't ever search for these again. But I think... Oh man, is there an easier way to test this then? I changed the message ID. Oh, I didn't even do the right thing. Oh, what a stupid thing. I still don't think it's going to work. So now it's going to say Spanish. But then if I change to English, it's not going to say maybe later. Oh, it did. Okay, never mind. All right, well, everything's working then. Yeah, so let's undo that. I don't want it there. All right, so what do we find now? All of the NPC dialogues. Where even are those? Let's just search for... Actually, let's just build this thing and find out. What do you say? Hi, I'm a slime. I'm a slime. I like that this shows up twice in the code base. There are 2 slimes, but still, it's kind of funny. All right, so this is inside of states NPCs. So let's go over there. Game source states and whoops, state NPC. Okay, so inside this folder, we're going to find, I guess, a bunch of text, and none of it's been translated. That's fun. Yeah, so we got to translate all of this. Oh, man. Nothing's ever easy, is it? All right, can we just search for text colon like that? That's weird. That's not even the right search. Oh, man. Yeah, I think every one of these needs to be fixed. Oh, boy. Well, let's get to it. Okay, so we got to get the string for this. Text equals... And then I want to translate this part. And what is this? Is this a node? Probably is. TR that. Okay, and then we just wrap this in quotation marks. And put this as, I don't know, NPC. I'm just going to type NPC for now. I don't know if I ever used that before. NPC dialogue. Sounds good. All right, so now text is just text. So TR, oh, I had plenty of health potions. Looks good. The formatting does not show in the message itself. I like that. And now we just do that 1,400 times. So same thing here, string text equals there we go. Perfect. Time for my first adventure. All right, all these ones are fine. This is why I was saying the search isn't even correct. Like, how is it that text colon space quotation marks is finding... Okay. Apparently, due to a regex somehow? Quotation mark isn't a regex character, is it? I don't think so. I don't know what this is doing. Text colon quotation mark. Matches characters text colon quotation mark. Literally. Yeah. So it shouldn't find something like text colon blah 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 whatever. I wonder why that was happening here. There's some like flavor of regex that's being used here that maybe no. Yeah, I don't know. It's strange. I don't know why that would happen. All right. Well, setting via code, I don't care about. This stuff I also don't care about. We're not going to translate any of these things. This is mostly just error dialogues, and I don't think it's worth getting translations for them. This is definitely worth it, though. So there's going to be translate NPC dialogue. Good. Using static Godot translation server. Good. Just keep doing that. Translate this. There we go. I'm going to copy that because I'm going to want that everywhere. Oh, hey, there's okay. I didn't even see that. Dialogue strings dot okay button. In fact, I should search for just the word okay. Let's do that now just to see how many times did I miss that. Apparently here. Dialogue strings okay. Anywhere else? Here. This needs to be translated. Cool. You know, a clipboard manager is something I have never tried using really because I stream and because I'm worried that I'll keep something on my clipboard that I shouldn't and then I'll accidentally summon it again while I'm streaming. Like a password or a, I don't know, some like configuration. Hey, Mohit Kumar, welcome back. How goes the keyboarding? All right, go on is another string that we should have somewhere. Yeah. And we should probably rename this to go on button. And then replace all of these before I forget. It shows up in a lot of spots. All right, I'll just write it down over here so I don't mess this up. I should assembly line this thing anyway. Replace all instances of go on. Something that I always enjoy is when people are playing the game and they're reading a dialogue like this, they'll read out, "Hi, I'm a slime. I'll pay you for tasty items." And then in a different voice, they'll say, "Go on," which I just find very funny. Like they're having a conversation with themselves. No, I had the comma on my clipboard already. I guess I should also save the parenthesis. Can I just press? No, I can't do that. All right, so go on. Yeah, fine. I can change that. Translate. Sounds good as another one. One of these on Mac has settings to not save things that you copy from certain apps, so the match regex. There's still some risk. Yeah, well, I think the other thing that would be difficult about this is typically I'd be pasting into a text editor with word wrap. So instead of data being obscured because it's whatever, there's a line break or something, it's like it'll all just show on the screen. And yeah, every once in a while, I'm sure I'll shoot myself in the foot with that. I always felt kind of weird about clipboard managers and having intelligent clipboards of different variants. Just feels wrong to me for some reason. I think if you're the only one using your computer and you trust the clipboard manager, that'd be okay. And you also, I guess, trust your habits. I mean, how do you know you're not copy pasting a password into a chat? But like that could happen anyway. The other thing I kind of wonder about is, let's say you do type your password somewhere into a chat. Like, just do you see a Discord message that says Hunter2? You wouldn't know what account it's for. Although you might, if they're in a chat with you, you might know what identity they use as their email address, and you could just try a whole bunch of different sites. And like, what are the odds you end up finding it? Maybe it is for their bank. Maybe it is for, Neopets forum or something. Hopefully no one ever has a problem with that. Oh, by the way, to follow up on the accountant story from yesterday, which I'll just tell the whole thing again so that everyone's on the same page. But like 2 years ago, we reached out to an accountant and we ended up not going forward with their services. They had a website that was so bad that I was just like, I don't want to deal with this come tax time, that I'm trying to upload forms or something and it just can't handle it. So we were like, okay, we'll pass. Okay, everything's fine, whatever. Then yesterday, I get an email from this person saying, here's a DocuSign link. It was not a DocuSign link. So I called them up and I said, hey, I think you were compromised somehow. Well, they texted back after the stream and they said, yeah, sorry, my email was hacked. Oh, maybe this had happened before the afternoon stream. Okay, never mind. I might have already told that. Anyway, they did acknowledge that they were hacked. And I was just like, yeah, good luck moving on. It's probably hard to recover from that. What I did not say is, I'm glad we didn't use your services. You not having a good website may have shown that you are not going to protect against hacks. And it just makes me wonder, what's the fallout of that? Like, was a bunch of personal data leaked from a bunch of people who were using this person's services? This probably happens all the time. Did you just disclose Kitboga's password? Imagine if I even knew Kitboga's passwords. All right, this is looking good. Static Godot translation server. All right, we're going through all of this. We're almost done with this. The string burden in this game is going to be massive. There we go. Whoa there. Not many people see this dialogue in the game. Huh. And I don't think anyone's ever seen this dialogue. Oh, that's supposed to be using static Godot translation server. Hey, Seshamara. If they had access to their email, absolutely. About the leaking financial data. Yeah. And the other thing too is I never, now maybe I could share the link with chat, the malicious link, but I never looked at the link, so I still don't know what the attack was. Was it to... Here's the thing that I think, based on the wording of the email, they said sign in with your email, which maybe is a thing on DocuSign. I don't know. But it'll probably take you to something that looks like a Gmail sign-in page, and you type your email credentials, and now they can send all of your contacts the same emails. The thing is, when an accountant reaches out to you with some DocuSign thing and says, I have a proposal, it might sound valid. They'd have to take a different path if I were emailing, you know, my friend Bob. It's not going to be like, hey, Bob, I have a proposal. Here's a contract. You'd have to be like, hey, man, I just found this game. Go download it. All right, and then look around is one of these things too. All right, so all of that's been changed. Now what about these? All shop data. Okay, I gotta translate all of that. Do I have this written down already? No, so it's a new thing. Isn't that fun? Translate all shop data. It's almost always phishing, gain access to more accounts. Yeah, but at some point, it's got to be, okay, now make money. And if the accounts are bank accounts, then maybe you could make money. I say maybe because it can't, like, if I got access to someone's bank account, I'm like, okay, I'm going to rob them. I guess my first thought would be transfer the money to my bank account. But like, that would be so easily traceable. And they'd be like, Adam, you just got a bunch of money from someone else. Are you the culprit here? And then presumably do some sort of digital forensics. But so, yeah, suppose someone does get access to something like that. How do they get money eventually? I know with cryptocurrency it'd be easier. Although even then, a lot of the exchanges have some sort of like semi-regulation around it such that they could find out the identity of the person. Oh no, that proposal is legit, Kevin. Just give me your bank account details. Okay, so now we search for things. I guess look around is another one of these strings. In fact, dismiss title. All right, so let's try running this. I'll just extraction of strings. And hey, we're making good progress. I just want to be done with any of these to-do lists at some point. Whoops. All right, now what are we looking at over here? So I don't want to go through every single one of these things. Someday I'm going to look at the intro and it's going to be just garbled text. And I'm like, when did this happen? All right, so now a lot of this is just shifting things into translate calls. Yeah. Okay. Localize more of the game. Okay, next up is the go on text, which we should have in a bunch of different spots in the code base. We're going to only put it in one spot now. So here it is, dialog strings dot go on button. Oh man, I should really get rid of that from the search thing. Good, good, good. Okay, that's everything. So that's it for go on. Next up is sounds good. We don't have a dialog string for this. Sounds good button. Dialog strings sounds good. That's done. Next up is dismiss option title, and we're just going to search for anything that's got a string in it, which I guess we could probably do pretty easily just by looking at it over here and searching for colon quotation mark. Those we were going to ignore. Oh, there's an okay. Where's that? Wait, this is okay dot dot dot. That's different from okay. I do like the ellipsis there. Like, oh, I was just called out. Well, let's just translate it then. And I'll just write I18N. This is explicitly different from just okay, and that you were called out by the guildmaster. Hence the ellipsis. Oh, then we got to do this style of comment here. Yeah, static string okay dot dot dot. Never stop trying to fish and gain access to new accounts. You can investigate what you did get access to and see if there's any meat, essentially. Even something as simple as a contacts list comes. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, all of this stuff is eventually for the sake of money. So getting access to accounts on its own doesn't do anything. Then selling the list to people might do something. Stealing a valuable thing might do something. But the access itself is just a way to eventually get to money. And yeah, the company's buying list thing, I guess, is a pretty uh, straightforward way for that. I wonder about this too. This is just me thinking aloud for this stuff. It doesn't really matter. But with any sort of nefarious exchange of goods or services, trust has to be pretty big there. Like, let's say you're a company buying a list. There's got to be some kind of proof that what you're going to buy is what you think it is, but you're dealing with someone who stole the information in the first place. So you know that they're not trustworthy on a regular day, but now they have to be when they sell you this list. So they might give you a few names and you test them and you're like, yeah, those work. But then how do you know that the rest of the list is going to work? Maybe they only stole a few things. Hey again, Ribbon. Yeah, so anyway, I don't know. I don't think it really matters too much. Any other ones I missed here? Yeah, this fine. I'll finish the tutorial. This is very snarky. Yeah. Anything else? Look around. There are 2 look arounds, but one has an ellipsis at the end. Maybe they should both have an ellipsis. I don't know how I feel about that. Some dark web escrow account. Yeah, but then again, like, how do you know to trust the escrow party? Because you can't really go to law enforcement and be like, I bought this stolen list of accounts and they ripped me off. They'd be like, all right, everyone's going to jail here. Hey, Rin. Mohit from YouTube. Yeah, welcome in on Twitch now. Yeah, so I do try to read YouTube chat. I asked, how's the keyboarding going? Which I don't know if you heard me, but yeah, how is the keyboarding going? Dialogue string. So look around is going to be this. Look around button. ... And then let's replace this. Dialogue strings dot look around. And there was one more of those. Look around there. All right. So all those have been done. Is there anything else here? Should I even... Would I find it? I don't know. I think that's it. Okay, so localize more of the game. I'll try running it. Yeah, it all looks reasonable. It builds, it runs. Yeah, cool. Just great. Learning new layers. Nice. Yeah. Translate all shop data. Oh, there's not too much here. So we have what? One, the name, description, animation name. That doesn't need to be translated. And sign text. So 3 things. Name, description, and sign text. Okay. So we're going to change these to name, description, and then I want sign text. Function strings. Get, import, change name to get, nope, not like that. Change name to get name. Change description to get description. And change sign text to get sign text, which needs to be done everywhere. And it only did it once. There. Okay, now we need to translate the strings. These only ever show up here, I'm pretty sure, so I think we can just use the translate calls directly. I guess when the thief wants money for his hard work, I don't think he can risk losing clients. It's got me thinking, what if there's a movie, Stealing from Thieves? You fish a bunch of people to prove it. You got to break a few eggs to make an omelet. You fish a bunch of people to get their credentials. You sell it to some company and you promise them another 10,000. They spend the money. You don't ever give it to them. You disappear. You do it again with other companies. We then sell those lists off to regular companies who want to advertise, likely with criteria. I work for a construction company, but in IT. Mm, yeah. Yeah, I imagine the other end goals are something like they're probably less common, but things like getting back at somebody or I don't know, ruining someone's life. You know, after watching a lot of Kitboga, I've seen in the early days he would talk to the scammers and say like, "Look, why are you doing this? What would it take to change, et cetera, et cetera." And almost none of them seemed like they were doing it for anything other than money. But I think a couple of those people made it kind of seem like, oh, Americans deserve this, or maybe their victims weren't always Americans, but yeah, like the victims deserve this. They have too much money. There should be a redistribution of wealth there. So there was some ideological reason, but it was probably more justification for just, I want money and here's why it's okay for me to get that money doing what I'm doing. I don't even know what we call this. This is like a building string, I guess. What do we call the other building strings? Shouldn't this be in building strings? Why? Oh, I see. Yeah, technically it would be fine. Yeah, fine. Do we have any other shop stuff here? We do. All right, so I should put this all here. You're dealing in a circle of dangerous people, ones you don't want to screw over with money. Yeah, but you're probably doing so digitally, right? I don't think you're like meeting these people. So they'd have to be able to hunt you down. And presumably you'd know how to cover your tracks from them. A lot of this is hypothetical, right? I'm not actually talking about this stuff. Or not talking about doing this stuff, I mean. So this is build weapon shop. It's just going to say weapon shop. Is that what the other ones say? Yeah. Wait a second, though. What? No. This has to go somewhere else. And now we don't have get name anywhere. Shop sign, I think, does it. Sign text. It doesn't say build weapon shop. Wait, does it? No, it does say it. Okay, my bad. And then the name of the building, is that used twice? Yes, it is. Okay, I did this wrong then. So this should be build weapon shop. And that goes here. Building strings. Build weapon shop. Then the name of the weapon shop. That goes below this. That's just weapon shop. Building strings dot weapon shop name. And then the description of it. Sells weapons and weapon related items. No, thank you. Okay. So now we just do that for the other ones. And they're all the same. Lets you sell potions that you find, lets you sell armor that you find. So we just duplicate these three things. Boop, boop. And then replace weapon with potion. Get rid of the capitalization there. And then we replace weapon with armor. And get rid of the plural and the capitalization there. So build armor shop, build potion shop, armor shop, lets you sell armor that you find, lets you sell potions that you find. That should all match this stuff, right? Potion shop, build potion shop, lets you sell potions, armor shop, lets you sell armor. Yeah, cool. All right. Yeah, so now we get building strings dot potion shop name, description, build. Good. All right, nice. Now we get rid of that from there. So all shop data is now done too. Let's try building that. It's a good thing I tried building it. Oh, right, because it's all get sign text now. And get name. And get description. And get name again. And same thing there. That was 5 changes? Yeah. So that should be 5 fixes. To our 5 errors. Okay, cool. Yeah, all I care about is that it builds. At some point, I'll look over the strings. I'm not doing that today. All right, so localize all shop data. Okay, almost had the analyzer thing working. Oh yeah, Kevin sent me this yesterday. Apparently, when I was looking for what I thought was a formatable string, so the difference between this and this from a code perspective is interpolated string expression syntax. So now we can go get the analyzer working with that, which I'm hoping this is fast because I did this yesterday and I remember what I did. So this is going to be no interpolated strings rule. Oh, are there multiple diagnostic IDs? No, that's fine. All right, so title is no interpolated strings. Message format. What is this one again? Analyzer message format. Where's the string? Here it is. Translated string requires parameters, but you only have that. Okay, yeah, so the provided string is an interpolated string which is not supported within a translate call. Drop the $sign. And then there's a description. I don't think this description actually goes anywhere. Provide the correct number. Yeah, I'll just say drop the $sign. All right, we plug that in there. And then we get our new code. Else if is interpolated string. Okay. Now I want to write that private static bool. Huh. It knows this because I have this open now. But this isn't totally correct, is it? Argument list. We need to know that it's a constant value. So it's got to look. Maybe it doesn't have to look like this. Is this nullable? Huh, it's not nullable. All right, let's rebuild it and try. It is very easy to test to see if it's working. We just go in anywhere over here and we type a $sign. And if it catches it, then we know there's a problem. It did not catch it. All right, what am I doing wrong? Console.writeLine. Actually, I want to test it here. Hey, Pride. Any suggestions on how to stay patient when learning and making games? I know I want to spend my time doing this, but at the same time, I get impatient when trying to make something. I think it's understanding where your expectations are. Because I think impatience is basically like expectations don't match reality. So I think drilling it in that like game dev is a long process. And you can still make progress week by week. So I almost wonder, like, with some amount of looking back, I don't know how new you are into the journey, but maybe look back X days, weeks, or months and just think, could I have done this then? I think that might kind of show you and instill some reflection that, okay, I am improving. Things are getting better. Like, yeah, I definitely couldn't have done this even a week ago. And now I know how to do this. Yeah. I think that's my main suggestions for this. I'm just trying to think about if there's anything I want to add. I don't really think so. So yeah, I'm not sure how easy this is to do or how much this will help, but it's maybe a start. Just kind of look back and think, how much have you done? And not looking forward to what do I want to do? When will this actually turn into a game? It's just you're building the foundations. All right, symbol console is banned, but can I still build this? I don't know if it stops you from doing this. No, it does stop you. Okay, well, that's fine. We'll just suppress it. Just learning Love 2D with Lua. I'm pushing through, but I could say I made a lot of progress over the last week. Yeah. Yeah, and the reason I think looking back and saying, like, could I have done this is because a lot of times it's almost invisible to you. it's almost like if you went on a diet and over the course of several months you lost some weight. Like the people who see you every single day are probably not going to notice any given day. You're shedding like, I don't know, some number of ounces every day. But the people who haven't seen you in months might be like, whoa, like what a change. Well, you yourself are seeing yourself every day and seeing your game dev progress. So it's like you need to take a step back and try to look at it from the perspective of, okay, what if I hadn't seen it every day though? Like, well, let's look back a month. Could I have done this? And I like the idea. I keep a journal, just a work journal for myself. And I try to boil it down to just 2 bullet points at most. And every day lately, it's mostly just been Skeleseller stuff. But I could drill down into like localization and whatever, game content. And then a tiny little bit of notes here. And that way I can look back and be like, oh man, look at this chunk of time. Like, yeah, I was working on that problem and it took me almost a month, but I solved it. And yeah, wow, I moved past it. And every once in a while, I actually do look back at this and I think, what happened in the last week? Typically on Mondays when I'm reviewing, like, how did last week go? And I look back and I look at a given week and I'm like, okay, we did a lot of localization stuff. But there's other stuff that sneaks in there too where I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. I did more than I thought. Okay, so now this should print out over here. Found interpolated string in translate call. But it's not necessarily, it's just checking for interpolated string. And I want to print out a whole bunch of stuff here. Like, what is arg syntax.expression? Yeah, what is this? If they would do the same thing again in the same way, the answer is usually no, and they realize they learned a lot. Yeah, that's another good question to ask. I think anything that just triggers reflection for people. What? What? What is this? It's finding something in... It's finding something in a different file. It's not even looking in this file. Okay, hold on. Let's close out of everything else that we have here. Just open up Byte. So if the expected number of args doesn't match, we would just produce an error. But if it does match, we're going to check for this string being interpolated. And it's just not even looking in this file for some reason. What if I put... Oh, because there's no string.format call? That's probably it. Yes, that's it. Okay, my bad. Oh, man. All right. Then let's fix this. So let's search for a string.format call and put a $sign there. Does it detect that as a problem? It doesn't. All right, I should probably just reject this at this point because I don't think this is worthwhile to do. I don't know what I'm doing wrong exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of this. I'll copy the whole thing just in case, or I'll just save it as a different file. I'll save it in temp. But I don't want to keep working on this. All right, there. So now we got to rebuild this one more time. Now it's got the correct code. And now we move on. I still couldn't get this to work, and I don't think it's worth trying anymore. Oh, I got to take a break. It's been an hour? Wow, yeah. All right, well, we got a few things done. Okay. Yeah, I will go take my break now. Is it jump time? It's jump time. again. Hey, Nedium, and hey, Rough Cookie, and Mitch. I'm all back. Okay, close the game. Hi, Sofameyer. Close the game. Okay. Probably tell players who change the language to reload the game if anything is untranslated. Yeah, I think this is a nice thing to do for later. I don't think this is necessary for now. So let's just file an issue. Tell players who change languages to reload the game if they see issues. So we have, I think it's called translation changed. Yeah. I'm just going to link to the MD file that we have here, which is i18n.md. Yeah. All right, so I want to copy this with the canonical link. I don't want to write about this stuff. So what do we say? Players should be able to use whatever language their system is set to, but for whatever reason, they may prefer to change the language while the game is running. We have a mechanism in place to support changing strings everywhere, and it is this. But we don't use it for reasons described here. Summary, it's just not worth the effort. As a result, we should tell players who change the language that if they encounter issues reloading the game, or if they encounter strings in the wrong language, reloading the game should fix it. It can just be a dialogue or something that pops up after changing the language. Okay, there, that's it. All right, make sure TSCN files have been checked. What does it even mean? I don't think there's anything to do here. If I'm not mistaken, any string that we add, we can just test this right now. So yeah, let's just do this. So let's say I go add a new label. And in here it says, this is a test of whether or not this will appear in a .po file. So it's somewhere on the screen. Yeah, it's up there. It's behind something that doesn't matter. I don't care about any of that. We're just going to go run generate again. And then whatever I typed here, let's just search for this is a test, should now appear in scenes dot this thing. It doesn't. Do I not understand what's going on? I saved it, right? I did save it. I thought we didn't have to do anything special. What made it into here then? Defeat an elite enemy to gain skill points, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's search for that. Doesn't even show up. What? Is this... Oh, wait. Do we have to do something else to generate these? We might have to. I'm actually not totally sure. Scenes. What do we do for this? We need to export from the editor. Oh. Okay. Scenes. Yeah. Usual way to generate these files is by extracting strings from source code. However, this is not supported for Godot scenes. Interesting. Instead, we need to do this through the editor. This section of the Godot docs contains the steps needed. Have they since made a way to do this through the command line? They don't have a command line way of doing this? Command, I don't even know what to search for. Is part of the project. Creating PO template. Generate POT. Okay, yeah. So I want to look for that. Generate POT from command line. I don't see anything here. Maybe, okay, there's an idea that I have here. If we type Godot 4 -- help, is there some way to... No, there isn't. Hey, Goose. Aw, man. There's no way to do that? All right, well, it's not that hard to do through here. I don't know exactly how we do it. Maybe in project, localization, this. And then generate. And then we got to click the file. Does this overwrite whatever we have? I don't even know where this is. It's in submodules. So it's not even, oh, it's got to be here. Yeah, here, and then here. So already exists. You want to overwrite it. Whoa, what is going on with this dialogue getting gigantic? Did that work? Yes. And I apparently haven't done this in a while. Huh. But anyway, the this is a test should show up here. Yeah, it does. Okay, so all this stuff happens automatically as long as we run this command. So now I want to go delete whatever I just did. So let's revert this and then run this again. Project settings, generate, save, overwrite. Okay, so that'll delete the this is a test bit. Man, okay, well, maybe I'll write that here somewhere. Because what does this print out? Info, running command. It doesn't tell you that. Oh, run process with reporting. So after this is done, which is there, I want to do just a console.log, or I guess a logger.log information. Generation complete. Don't forget to run. All right, let's find the path to it. Project settings. And then what do you click? Localization, pot generation. POT, by the way, stands for portable object something. I forgot what the T is. Template? Yeah, portable object template, I think. And then generate POT. And then navigate to here. Why is there an underscore there? And overwrite scenes.pot. Okay. Not sure if they're there already. Oh man, yeah. Okay, I gotta write that down too. I guess pseudo localization should make it easy to find. This is for scenes.pot. And then, hey, ABC, I'm guessing this is a proposal to do what I want through the command line. 2024. Oh, I've read this before. Throcked. I don't know. Hilarious to me. They're almost certainly English is not their first language if they got their Godot editor looking like that. It's still funny to read that word. Okay, so I'll just link to this in here. see this proposal. Okay, well, let's run generate again. It should now just print out instructions at the end. Yeah, generation complete. Don't forget to run project settings, localization, pod generation, generate pod. Navigate to that and overwrite scenes.pot. I should also write one other little thing in there. Remember that any new... See, wait, why don't we just add every single scene here? Why would they even have files with translation strings? Maybe because some scenes would have strings that aren't exposed to players. Like there could be a debug scene. I guess that's why. This is going to be annoying. This is going to be really annoying. How many TSCN files do we have? A lot. Yeah, this is going to be really annoying. Because any of those could have strings, like regeneration progress bar. This one, it's not set via the scene, so that's fine. But I guess if we just search for text equals, and we click this, and we, I guess, search for star.tscn. All right, so we got 58 files. Anything that, yeah, like this dialog box has NPC there. That's probably not needed. Yeah, that's probably not needed. So this is probably fine. This is already there in the list. A lot of this is set through code. And there's probably other things than text equals that we need to search for. Man. Well, I guess let's just do this task now then, right? Why would I wait? All right, so what's on the list already? These. Can I get this as a list that I can type in? I guess if we search for scene/loading screen, we should find it. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so I just want to copy this. And then I want to do that. And that. And that. Okay, so here are all the ones that I've already looked through those two. So now I want to go find those search results again here. And I want to close everything after this. Whoops. I think these were the search results. Yeah. These are the ones I want. And I don't care about any of this. All right, so game credits menu we looked at. That one's fine. Game settings menu is already there, so that one's done. In battle screen. Turn off auto battling. You can always re-enable this at the end of battle. So that needs to be there. Add scenes. Where is this? In battle screen. In battle. You apparently can't type in here. Okay, that one's finished. What else do we have? In-game menu. All right. Delete all that. Loading screen. That's already handled. Loot item. Text X1. That's the quantity label. I think we set that through code. Notification box. We must set through code. Yeah. Title screen is already there. Tooltip. Set through code. Tooltip on parent. Set through code. Walking to portal. Already done. That's fine. That's fine. Intro. Intro just has one button and it says skip. Okay. Where's the intro? It's in scene/game intro. Got it. All right, which other ones are on here? I should delete these first. Skill tree. That doesn't even show up. Doesn't that mean skill tree doesn't have any... Wait, skill tree doesn't even exist? What? How is that possible? Skill tree. Yeah, I don't even see a file called skill tree. So it doesn't even tell you if there's no file. You can add anything in here. Oh man. So if I just type some random garbage, like intro battle 223 whatever something. Okay, no, there it added intro battle. But yeah, this scene doesn't exist. Okay, let's delete it. Then skill table. Skill table does exist, but it doesn't have any strings in it anymore, so we can delete that one too. Yeah, this is stupid. I'd love to not have to do this and curate this list. And like, are we going to remember to look through every single file? Because technically every single scene we have, if we ever add a label to it, we need to remember to add it to this list. We're not going to be thinking about that at the time we add a label. And it might already be in this list. So maybe we need to write a tool that finds all of the text in any of these files that isn't some like placeholder string. It just sounds tedious. Yeah, it sounds tedious. All right, town perks. Let's look at that. Townperks.tscn. That doesn't exist either. So stupid. Yeah. Thankfully, I guess anytime you say we can write a tool to fix this, it's like I could probably ask AI to write that tool. And it doesn't even need to be a coded tool. It could just be a shell script that finds files with text equals in them and then ignores the ones that have like set via code. Battle panel. This also doesn't exist anymore. So I guess we delete that. And then town menu. That exists. Does it have... Yeah, nice. Okay, that's still fine. Okay, so what have we learned? Quest accepted. All right, that's an intro accept quest. There's probably text in all of these. Intro battle, I need an antidote. Oh, you know what I should write in this thing about localization? Is it sometimes you want to localize the formatting. Sometimes you want to localize the formatting. In some I don't know, cultures, poison is represented as green, and in others it may be purple. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably one of the rare cases you want to localize a color. I don't know how often that happens. Trying to think if I have anything else off the top of my head. Because generally the color of something is that thing, but in fantasy worlds is a little bit different. And at least in the US, I think of poison as green in video games, but I think in Japan they would say that it's purple. I don't know for sure. And even there, knowing you're a total scam with amateur knowledge, I did that. Hey, Stella. I'm sure you did a great job. Dream you in the FBI. Intro shop has 1 month later. Don't care about this. Don't care about this. Party member base doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Adventurers panel tab has a lot. But probably most of this is updated via code. But this stuff isn't. So yeah, we need to add. Oh man, this is going to be bad though, because it's going to find all these things and then someone's going to try translating those. So this is more work than I thought. Also need to make sure that all strings that are replaced at runtime are called out in the translation file, e.g. set via code everywhere. Oh no. Oh no. All right, well, where's Adventurers panel tab? It's in panels. Wonder if it's easier to set these from code instead. The annoying thing there is that for a lot of these, we need to do some like get node foo path and then set text equal to something else. And then in the editor, it wouldn't show. Yeah, the problem I have with this is, let's say we want to add a tooltip to something. But right now what we do is we instantiate a tooltip on parent, and then we just set the text in the editor. We wouldn't ever be able to use this pattern anymore. We'd have to set it through code. By setting it through code, we could give it context. Maybe that exists here, though. I didn't actually look at that. So I have a tooltip here. Is there any, like, context? No. There isn't. Localization. Oh, there, localization. No, that's not helpful. And what about translation? No. Let's see, real strings to see how it looks. Yeah. Yeah, I'm torn on this. Alternatively, we could just do everything through a script, and whatever shows in the editor won't actually be translated. Am I making a game? Yeah, Provost, and welcome in. Weirdly, it didn't identify your message as the first chat, so you must have chatted back from when you followed a long time ago. But yeah, welcome back. You followed 8 years ago. Twitch forgot about all your messages. And back then I was working on Botland. I don't know if you remember that game. But we launched it and then discontinued it. Yeah, damn. And now we're working on Skeleseller. All right, well, let's keep looking through this list. So Adventurous panel tab is now done. Battle panel tab. Are any of these? Yeah, these are still used. Battle panel tab. Well, no, we're going to have... I don't know how I feel about any of this. Yeah. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't think we should have battle panel tab in there. I just forgot about you. Yeah, no, that's totally fair. I don't like it at all. Choose town perks panel tab. All right, where's that? Scenes panels. Scenes panels. Choose town perks. There. Started creating your own. Oh, cool. What are you working on? Panels top bar. Money and wisdom sludge. Now that you have an adventurer, send them into battle. Let's Guildmaster Battle Nudge in Scenes Town. Scenes Town. Guildmaster Battle Nudge. Quest progress. Everything set through code. Start Battle Nudge. Wait, I can't type in here, right? No, I can't. I'm trying to make a game like Call of Duty Zombies. You know, I've never played Call of Duty. I've heard about the zombies mode before. Or zombies, I don't know, iteration of the game. I'm not even totally sure what it is. Scenes Town. But yeah, that sounds interesting. Town menu. Okay. Set through code, set through code. Your adventure. So this is auto fight notification in UI somewhere. Available buildings menu. Contextual tip. Currency label. Game version label. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Instance slot toolbar. Round-based survival. That sounds interesting. Also, hanging bear. Label text 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Does this need to be translated? I guess so. Unless we set this through something else. Label, where is that? Label text? Also, label text. Interesting. Hey Mafioso, why can't I see the live? What do you mean? The stream's not showing up for you? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, refreshing usually fixes these sorts of things. If you still can't see it, it sounds like it might be an extension or I don't know, some other like the ad player broke or something like that. Yes, I can. I can't see the view. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe try refreshing. If you're on an app, maybe try updating the app or closing it and opening it again. Okay, so label text. This is what I got to figure out. Where is this? Is this ever changed or set somewhere else? We do change it. But it's changed to what's exported here, and then we never update this again? I can't search for it. No, yeah, we never update it again. Okay, so I think this needs to make its way in. Scenes UI item action menu. Why don't I see this here? What? Oh, it's in action menu. Got it. Hey, Luna. What's the watch streak feature? It's just to get people watching Twitch more. The annoying thing is I keep going to stream on Twitch and it keeps telling me like, hey, you have 18 viewers at risk of losing their watch streak. Like make a story or something and make them not lose that. I do not want those notifications. I don't particularly care about watch streaks. And that sort of thing would make me want to disable the feature, not stream more. Hey, Bums, and hey, Johnny. All right, so this one's finished. This isn't needed. Guild supplies? God, this is the worst. It's just the worst. Yeah, anything with like 3 strings, I think we're going to have to change. In fact, I wonder if I'm even doing a service to myself right now for this. Like, should I just be changing all this now? We already do set a lot of things through code. And the text on buttons, like, man, I don't know. I'm not going to translate that. Challenge mode, end screen. Yeah, a lot of this is probably set through code. I don't like it. I just don't like it. Where's challenge mode? End screen. How many more of these do we have? Okay, not much more. Objective details. All of this stuff set through code too. Yeah. This is a problem. This is a big problem. Well, at least this gives us a list of things to look through afterward for what we should set through code. Meta perks tab container. New challenge run screen. I'll just add that one too. And what else do we have here? Perk choice set through code, but then they have the choose button. So we need perk choice there. Your upgrade points on perk points label. Title. I don't think that's needed. That's not needed. None of that looks important. And none of that looks important. Okay, so that's all of the stuff that we have. Now we click generate. And it's going to generate a whole bunch of strings. Okay. So that should have produced a new scenes.pot file. Here it is. And it's going to have a whole lot of new stuff. And some of this won't have any purpose to it, I guess. Yeah. Oh, man. Well, what are you going to do? So update scenes that we localize. The problem here is that we have a lot of placeholder strings, but translators wouldn't know to ignore those. We should probably just set more text through code so that we can add contextual information. Man. Okay. Yeah, I need to look at this again. We'll do that in a bit. I'll come back to that. I'll just write this down here somewhere. Let's try to make it through some of these other things. I want to shrink this list. So like, here are some things we've done. We can put those down here. Yeah. All right. See where this shows up in Weblate. Yeah, I already did. Populate the glossary. Yeah, that's something we can do later. I don't know what it takes to do that, but I'll put that in cleanup. Not really something one would consider all that complicated compared to other dev tasks. I wouldn't say it's super complicated. And this is something you could do as you go. And that probably a lot of people who've been through this before will now do from here on out. Like any new game, we might localize from the beginning. I have mixed feelings about this. We're doing this at the point where we are pretty certain that the game is going to do well enough that we need extra languages. I could imagine this game like fizzling out after some amount of time and then us saying like, well, good thing we didn't localize anything. We saved a bunch of time doing that. Because it was like the prototype for this game we stopped working on after 3 weeks. It was like, okay, that's going nowhere. Imagine if I'd written in localized strings for all of that stuff too. It was only 3 weeks of dev time, so maybe it would have added 2 hours or something, or an hour. It still would have taken some amount of extra time. Reach out to the people who offer to help. Okay, so this is like once we've gotten everything set up. And then release would be here. Okay. I guess clean up stuff for over here. It worked. I can see it. All I needed was to reset my phone. Yeah, generally, if that sort of thing ever happens to you, it's almost certainly not going to be someone who is like on Twitch causing that problem, especially if it's happening in every Twitch stream. So it's probably Twitch or your phone or your browser or the app. Hey, Van Flick. I was wondering what the statistics are on how many extra sales you get from localization, if it's worth it. A lot of people speak English. So yeah, I've heard some stories online of a game that doesn't do very well in, let's say, the US, and then a Korean streamer picks it up, and thank goodness they translated it to Korean because they got 70,000 sales or something. So you never know. And I think if you want to maximize your chances for success, I think localization helps. It's just a question of can you afford it, both in terms of time and money. So anyway, what are you making? I'm making a game called Skeleseller. Here is a link to the Steam page if you want to check it out. Well, okay, in that particular example, it's a lot, but then there are probably a lot of people who localize and they get middling sales everywhere. So it's not like localization is a silver bullet, but it opens you up to other gamers, other content creators. And I've mentioned this before, but if you search for Skeleseller on YouTube and you just kind of scroll through this list, and maybe this won't show immediately, but okay, a bunch of these people speak English and play the game in English. Yeah, this isn't really showing up. Okay, this person I think was Japanese. This person's French. And if we keep going down the list, you'll see more. And a lot of the comments that you'll see on these videos are like, oh, it'll be cool if the game actually gets translated to French or gets translated to Korean or something like that. So we've had a decent representation of languages, but only like one person per other language. Sometimes it's been 2 or 3 like Spanish. And yeah, a lot of these are my videos now. But yeah, I don't know how to search specifically for non-English videos. Sounds cool as a website or app. Oh, are you not familiar with Steam? It's a game, and Steam is a game distribution platform. Yeah. I can't say I've ever seen that happen before on Twitch. That's just a first for everything, I guess. All right, so I still haven't changed this. Item data, get, oh, gotta reload. It's get tooltip description though. All right, so we just gotta wait for this thing to pop up. There we go. And I didn't want to modify this, and I think we kind of have to now. All right, let's do this. Yeah. All right, so shiny loot display name, base value, shiny loot text. And this is base and then some amount from shiny loot. Okay, I gotta explain this. World is full of wonders. Yeah, so to me, Twitch is like a gaming site first and everything else site second. And the only people I've encountered who don't really know about Steam are people who don't play games. And I've encountered enough of the people like that. It's just, yeah, there are people who don't play games, so they don't know about Steam. But not on Twitch, I haven't. All right, so I guess we'll translate this, but it won't be clear to translators that this is from shiny loot specifically. Which is why I'd like to have kind of everything all at once. This is what I wonder about. Like we have a dialogue here that let me just go find this in the game. And I wonder if what I should do is I should make variants of this dialogue that have all the different pieces of text so that it's clear to translators. So if we just make a couple of items here. So here's one example of this. And then another example is when you have shiny loot. Give me those items again. There we go. Whoops, I somehow nudged the mouse just enough. Okay. So we have the item, whoops, we have the item name, we have the item description, and in between we have the value, and this is conditionally formed. If you don't have shiny loot, it just tells you it's 3 gold. If you do have shiny loot, it tells you it was 3 gold, but then you're adding this much more through shiny loot. So can anything else show up here? I don't know if anything else can. Quantity, all right. So if we get item stacking, and then we go make a bunch of potions. My God, I keep doing that. No, come on. Stop taking the stuff I'm trying to screenshot. All right, so now we add in the quantity here. And then this text changes to say each. So yeah, there's a lot of complexity for this, I think. And I think we need to form each individual string so it's clear. Like we'd basically write it like this. So item name quantity. Let's just, how do I do this? Okay, right, only if you've unlocked item stacking. Then value. And then description. Okay, so maybe this is how I should do this. That's one such thing that we can have. Then another thing is 8G, 4G each. Base 1G from shiny loot. I have a question. In web development, you can write tests basically for everything. You can unit test methods, spin up some containers with infrastructure for integration tests, and you can even automate end-to-end tests. What's the approach in game dev? Do you test most of the things manually and pray that you didn't break something when adding a new feature? Generally, yes, for me. And part of the reason I mentioned this is kind of the same reason for localization, is that a lot of code gets thrown away, and I don't want to write tests for code that gets thrown away. And the throwaways don't necessarily happen due to code quality. In fact, they rarely happen due to code quality. It's mostly due to just something wasn't fun or something didn't land, and we're like, okay, well, scratch that feature. And I just don't want to spend the time writing tests for those sorts of things. Now, granted, if I already had tests set up, there are a lot of core things that at this point we know haven't changed and would be nice to have tests for, and I just haven't invested the time in doing that. One of the problems that we have is there's quite the mixture of C# code and Godot. So if it were just C# code, like imagine if you had a function like public float sum float x float y x plus y. It's like you could write tests for this. You could write it directly in C#. You could do some kind of like assert.equal sum 4 5 comma 9. And cool, okay, there's a test that you can write for this. But once you have Godot involved, you can't test the thing without Godot running. So it's like, let's say you add a node and there's a function that you write that says something like set label color. And it takes in, I don't know, maybe like RGB values or something. And at the end of this, it's going to do something like label.color equals colors.from RGB or something like that. I don't know. This code, the color part of this might be C#, but the label part is now Godot, which means Godot needs to be running, which means the scene needs to be set up, which means you need to like get to that point in the game. There's a lot of little things that means. It means that now all of your tests are kind of heavier weight than you want, even when they're just unit tests of one thing. And that running multiple copies of the engine might not be as doable. Like, what does this look like on CI? What if there's some like GPU related thing you need to do? And it just complicates quite a lot. So one thing you could potentially do is try to separate all the C# and Godot stuff you do so that it's like, all right, you won't be able to test setting a color, but you could test all the logic that you have. And yeah, in general, I just don't find that it's all that worth it. But we also don't have a lot of confidence when we refactor, when we add a new feature, that we haven't broken a bunch of stuff. So yeah, there is a trade-off here for sure. Yeah. All right, so what is the best way to do this? Man, I don't want this to be super confusing for translators. But I also don't want to manifest like 4 different strings because we have two conditions here. We have, do you have item stacking and do you have shiny loot? So we have a no to both, a yes to both, and a no to one, yes to another. And there are 2 of these. So this is just counting in binary. But do I want to manifest 4 strings? I think it'd be clearest for translators. Yeah. This is why I didn't want to touch this at all. Can I throw a thought I just had? Why be so specific to the player? For me, the information would be enough to know that there's value for normal loot and, for example, 1.5 for shiny. No need to say 4G each, 3G plus 1 from base. Just say 4G shiny loot, 3G base. I think people would understand. I think the breakdown of how the costs got to be the way that they are is nice. And the thing is, if we only had English, I'd be like, this is great. This is working. Everything's totally great. So I'd like to have that same transparency for other languages. But yeah, one way we could get through this is just by simplifying this somehow and just telling you like, look, here's the cost. You figure out how it got to be that way. Or we could even potentially simplify it by saying something that's always the same here, like item name and description never change. It's the quantity and the value. And what we could do is we could say something like value and just write whatever the total is. And then beneath it, we could say you have shiny loot and you have 2 of these items stacked or something. And now these things being here, this doesn't like drastically change a single line of text. It's just added here as notes of like how this got to be this way. So yeah, maybe we end up changing the tooltip. Maybe I just manifest new strings. I'm not totally sure. Okay, let's take a look at the picture for quantity here. We have x2. Where's the x show up? There it is. This is pretty much just a translate plural kind of thing, isn't it? Like string title equals translate plural. We didn't even have translate in here. Using static Godot translation server. Translate plural. So we have a message, right? Do we? I don't even know how this works. This stupid thing again. Is translate plural not what it's called? It looks like it's what it's called. Yeah. All right. So message, plural message, and in context. Okay. So message is going to be get display name. We don't even translate that. Actually, I guess the display name's already translated. So all we have to do is figure out when you are going to have an item with a certain amount of quantity there, how do we render that? So I guess we translate this. Oh my god. All right, how about we start like this? String.empty if quantity is greater than 1. Yeah, so it can fill these things in for me. Then we get rid of that. And then I change this to title equals translate f. So it's going to be 0, 1, and an x over there. Context item or tooltips, I guess. And then arguments are get display name and quantity. Okay. So there's that. Now total value. And value text and then flavor text. Flavor text is translated, right? Yeah, it is. All right, so just forming this. I guess this isn't that bad. So what do we have? 4G each. So we'd have 2 different strings here. No, we'd have 4 different strings. Value, value with quantity, value with quantity and shiny loot, and value with shiny loot. So yeah, those are our options here. So option 1, manifest 4 strings, value without shiny loot or stacking, shiny loot but without stacking, without but with, and with both shiny loot and stacking. And option 2 would be change how we render this so that we can just add bullet points or something. Like value 8G, 2x from quantity, and plus 50% from shiny loot. I don't really like that. I'm still inclined to do this. I just think it's nicest. It's just a little bit more annoying for translators, maybe. Alternatively, I guess option 3 is we build this up like we're doing now. I don't think that'll continue to work, though. All right, so let's see what this would look like. Because, yeah, maybe this is going to be obnoxious. Maybe it won't be. So shiny loot bonus. And where's quantity? Here it is, yeah. As shiny loot bonus. And bool is stacked. All right, and then, yeah, replace these things, sure. Is stacked, or like has multiple, something like that. Okay, so what are we doing here? Bonus explanation text. We're not going to do it that way. We're going to have like a value text somewhere. Yeah, total value text. Total value text equals string.empty. So now if you have shiny loot bonus and you have multiple, then we say total value text equals. All right, what are we looking at here? So it's got to look like this. Value this. And then we say this amount each. This, I'm just trying to get the string correct. Base. And then this from shiny loop. Okay. This is a mess. And all of this stuff needs to be formatted differently. So actually, I want to change all of these to be one higher than they are. And then put in a color here. Color equals 1. And then slash color. And this will be tooltips. Now we just plug everything in. Did it do this correctly? I'm not actually certain it will. Base value. Where's the total value? Quantity times total value. So that should go here. And then a color. And then the base. No, then the total, then the base. Then the shiny loot bonus. Where's that? Yeah, here it is, shiny loot bonus. Okay. And then the shiny loot display name. Okay. Hey, Echo, did you make the art for the game by yourself? No, I made none of it. I'm a very bad artist. Well, welcome to the stream. Okay, so yeah, it would look something like this. I can't say I love it. So now we would do this with one other one. So else if has shiny loot bonus. So now we would translate just that. So now there is no shiny loot, so we just delete this bit, which means we delete this. Then we check if you just have multiple. So I guess let's take the combination of these. So value, there's no each anymore. That's going to be 2, 3, 4. So it's not quantity times, well, I guess quantity is still going to work. But there's the value. Then we have the color. Then we have total doesn't exist. What is total? Base plus, oh God. Oh, I hate this. I hate this so much. All right, total meant something different from what I thought it meant, I think. Having the issue of wanting to make games. I already spend quite a bit of time on developing games. I have no skills at art, so I'm just stuck at that point, and I want to spend hundreds of money on Fiverr. I think asset packs are a good way to start. I think it's a combination of either asset packs or like getting an artist on board as a partner, essentially, or learning how to make art, or using AI, or hiring people. It's pretty much going to be one of those. And you already kind of ruled this one out. So I think asset packs are pretty decent to start with. If you're making a 2D game especially, there are a lot of asset packs out there. I think for 3D games, it's a lot harder to get styles that match and to get all the assets you might want. But yeah, at least for 2D games, they're a little bit cheaper. And yeah, if you look at the credits that I linked in, we started with this, Super Retro World. This cost $50 for all of these assets. So I don't know how many packs it is, like 23 or something. And if you open up any of these, like interior pack, it's like, yeah, looks pretty nice, right? Like I couldn't draw any of this stuff. And then Quickie Joe's been working on the art on top of this. So a lot of the art that you see in the game, I don't have the game open right now, but I'll open the Steam page, I guess. A lot of the art that you see in the game, Quickie Joe then matched based on the graphics that existed. So like the fish are not in the asset pack, but they look like they match. The slime's not in the asset pack. This building is not in the asset pack. And there are free asset packs out there. Although make sure you have, if you're going to sell your game, that you have commercial licenses for them. So when you buy a pack like this, they give you a commercial license. And they say here, you can use it for non-commercial and commercial projects. You can't distribute them yourself, claim that they're yours. Use the assets for an NFT or metaverse project. It's kind of interesting. All right, so I'm botching this whole thing, right? Quantity times total value. Then we have total value as the base. So there is no, this can't be right. No, that's just not how it prints out. How does this look? It says some base and then an amount from that. Oh, so we just delete total. Is that right? I think that's right. And then finally, we have that you have neither one of these, in which case it is going to be, we just show you the value and nothing else. All right, now we extract some variables out of this to make this not bonkers. And then we use total value text down here. So is this all nonsense now? Yeah, I think this is all nonsense. Each quantity bonus. And then throw it into there. All right, total value text. We already have value in there too. So now this string can look pretty straightforward. It's going to be this /n total value. And then 2 new lines and the flavor text. And we just return that. All right, this actually isn't too bad, and we're going to make it a little bit better in just a second. Is this going to say you don't need to set this? Yeah. That's fine. And now I want to extract out variables for all of these things. So we just need proper names for these. So string, like total times total value, including quantity. How many places does this show up? I guess several. There. Okay. There's one of these. Could also lean into the art that you're really bad at and make extra bad art as placeholders. Yeah, you could. Hey, Karada. Sorry for you think that I'm a bot. No. I don't think you're a bot, Karada. Sometimes rather enjoyable, but I also know it depends on the tone of the game. Yeah, there's a game I played called West of Loathing, which used stick figures for pretty much everything. And I mean, the game sold very well. Overwhelmingly positive, over 8,400 reviews. I think most people could probably draw artwork like this. Like, even I could maybe do this. I mean, I need to look at reference pictures. I could definitely draw stick figures. But yeah, none of the shapes here are super complex or anything. And even the UI, it's just like a drawn, almost like a rope. So yeah, you could always do that. And the game could even sell well if you do that. Hey, Neochromer. Yeah. Yeah, and best of luck. I think the quickest thing for me, and actually also a pretty cheap way, is the asset pack route. And it's nice to know that you're using assets that someone else did and that they might update or they might add new ones later that match the same style. And that way your game looks pretty good from the get-go without you having to be like, okay, well, imagine if the artwork were better. You could just be like, oh, we have the better art. All right, so we're just going to extract out all these other strings here too. I think there's actually an extract. Is there? Or a refactor or something? Refactor, yeah, here. Extract local function. Introduce local for this. Yeah, so we would just need to come up with a name for it. I don't know why I typed a V there. That doesn't seem like it did anything correctly. Is that... What did happen there? I'm going to click it to make sure it doesn't do anything. I did not type anything. Yeah. Oh, it says string V up here. Okay, my bad. Got it. Okay, so that's V. What does this represent? This is just total value. And then this one is the base value. Base value. Oh, this is a mess. I'm messing all this up. This is like total value rename me. And this is base value rename me. Yeah, I'll come up with better names. All right, so there's only this string down here. That one's fine. This is base value. So now we just have shiny loot bonus. Shiny loot bonus. Yeah, I'll say renaming for that. And we'll plug that in here and here and here. All right, now what am I missing? The display name of shiny loot. Shiny loot display name. And plug that in there and there. Okay, so that's what this could look like. We just need to rename these things. Is that better? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think it is. I think it's clearer. All right, so I18N, this shows for items when you have both item stacking and shiny loot. Yeah, this shows for items when you only have shiny loot. Well, maybe I should write it out explicitly. When you don't have item stacking but do have shiny loot. And then this is when you have item stacking but don't have shiny loot. And this is when this shows for items when you don't have item stacking or shiny loot. Okay. Now, what's the problem here? Should be preceded by a blank line. Oh, how you vex me. Same thing here. All right, there we go. So now we got to rename these rename me things. This is like, what is this? Is this final value text? So we can call this total value text, base value text, shiny loot bonus text, and shiny loot display name. That's already fine. Total value text including quantity. Yeah, I think AI art as placeholders, I think is totally fine. Although I don't really have a problem with AI art in games as much either. But what are they going to say? Oh, yeah. But I think that people who do have a problem with this stuff, there's always a risk with any kind of placeholder that it is not just a placeholder. You just never change it. And a lot of times you'll see in code, you'll see like to do refactor this or like this shouldn't stick around. Well, you see those comments in production all the time. So you never know when you're going to add something to a product if it's going to ever get changed in the future. And even things I've done for this game, like I've coded some things where I'm like, yeah, we'll come back to this later, and we don't. And now it's just that way for good. So as an example, arrows in the game shoot just straight from source to target. I wanted them to arc, and I'm just probably never going to code that at this point. Does it drastically impact the game? No, not really. And also it's not AI related, but yeah, you run the risk of never touching that thing again. Why do some comments have // and some /*? Because in this case, if I were to put // here, then the linter complains at me for not having a new line above it. And now it's not doing that for some reason. Make a fool out of me, linter. So I could turn off that linting rule. But in this case, I just changed the comment style. Yeah, so here it highlighted it. Single line comment should be preceded by a blank line. So yeah, it's just for style reasons. All right, let's go test this out. Yeah, this is why I didn't want to modify this function earlier. I had enough other things to do. But now that it's toward the end of the list, it makes sense for us to work on it. So if I just hit continue, I think we have item stacking and we have shiny loot. Yeah. And yeah, that looks pretty good. All right, so now let's undo it. And uh-oh. Did I not click that? I might not have clicked that. I don't exactly know what happened there. I'll start a new game and we will do that and that. Okay, good. Now we'll go get just shiny loot. No, that's wrong. This is wrong. We don't have item stacking yet. The word each is showing up. The each shouldn't be there. So if I X this out, now it's going to look like 4G, 3G base. No. It should say how much you're getting from shiny loot. Why is that not there? Oh, I reversed this? Okay, whoops. Okay, so this comment should go up here, and this comment should go down here, and then this code should go down here, and this code should go up here. And now let's try that again. Huh, why didn't I complain about this before? How do you say motivated while developing your game? I think that's very tough. I should probably make a video on this at some point because I've answered this a decent amount. And you know, no, it's not a knock at you or anything. Like you probably haven't heard the answer for this, but the way I kind of look at this is as you go through development or kind of as you go through anything, you have time and you have your happiness, and there's going to be some fluctuation. And in the case of development, at least, I feel like you start almost every project at a pretty high point. You're like here. And you're like super happy to work on it. And I think it dips pretty rapidly for about a month or two when you realize how much work is involved. And then you start going through release cycles. So like at some point we had, let me draw this text. We had like checkpoint 1, which was one of our first launches. And leading up to that, this rises again. And then, how do you go back to V apparently? Okay. So yeah, like this is checkpoint 1. And then I realized how much work I need to do. And I realized how much work was added by the checkpoint and it drops again. Anyway, my whole point here is there will be ups and downs. And I think one thing that really helps is just having a schedule. So sometimes you're not motivated and yet you still find the discipline to do things. So I have a schedule that I try to stick to. The only times I try to deviate from it are when I feel like I just need a break. And that's different from, I don't know. Like if I didn't have the schedule, I feel like there'd be a lot of days where I just think, I'll get this done later. So yeah, the schedule helps me. I think having frequent enough releases, I think that helps both from the business perspective and from your just general like confidence in the game. And I think having a community that wants the game is also good. But I think that generally happens after you've already done a few releases. By the way, by releases, I don't necessarily mean like you fully launch a game, it's on Steam or something, but like, hey, you produce, game.exe and you share that with a few friends and they give you feedback. That's all it really needs to be. And that's also going to give you feedback on like, is your game direction going the right way? Is your intro content guiding players? Is it onboarding them well? Because anyone who's made a bunch of games has probably made some bad games. And ideally they've learned a lot from those bad games and they've learned like, okay, when do we know we should stop working on a game? So as an example here, I made the prototype for this game and we spent 3 weeks on this and determined that it's not very fun. And this was basically what Skeleseller became. So this was Skeleseller without the selling. You could still click your little characters here and go get into battles and they'd fight. And it started out kind of interesting, but then you got to this point where battles would automate themselves and you're like, what am I doing in the game? Like, I'm just moving on to different enemies and waiting for the battles to play out. Like, how's that fun? So yeah, then we went back to the drawing board and then scrapped all this and added in selling stuff. I'm gonna let this battle finish because I want my characters to level up. Whenever I show this demo, I want them to be one level higher. Yay, we hit level 6. What does that even mean? Fire Blast deals more damage. All right, done. Save. Yeah, I hope that helps, Josie. If there's any other questions you have, feel free to ask. All right. So I tested when the item is not stacked and doesn't have shiny loot, and it looks good. And then we get shiny loot. That's perfect. And then we get item stacking, but not shiny loot. And that's going to be a little harder to do. Because we got to click grant most things and then build this and the upgrade and get item stacking. Oh, we can get both levels? I don't recall that being the case. And now it says X3. Oh, no, stop it. Don't take my items. All right. 9G, 3G each, 3G base. That doesn't look correct. What should it have said? No, I think it should just say the each part. Yeah. So setting a good roadmap in the beginning, it helps. I think it helps, but I think what's that expression? Something like planning is worthwhile, but plans are worthless. Like, I think it's good for you to have a plan of what you're going to do, but that plan's probably not going to remain your plan for a long time. So like I started this game with a design document, and at some point I just stopped maintaining it because I'm like, oh my God, just keeping everything to reflect what the game currently is very difficult. But we started with some ideas for like, okay, here's how the game's going to work. You've got abilities, you got adventurers, you got selling stuff. We didn't have things like the farm wasn't in the game, the pond, the tavern, the enchanter, the treasure room. None of that stuff was designed from the get-go because we didn't know we needed it. And it wasn't until playing the game where we're like, okay, this is working, but we need a little something more. And then started adding those things. Hey, Codex. Having someone anticipating a build, even if it's just one person. Yeah, nice distortion. Boss had a good saying of at some point implementation informs the design, which I found to be very true. Yeah, and I think this is a lot of just determining, it's having a product. And some of this is what is the marketability of that product, and some of it is just what is the feedback you're getting from your clients or customers. And you always have to keep that in mind with what your own direction is. You might make Dark Souls, like imagine a timeline where this didn't exist and you're the one to make it, and you get the feedback, this game is too hard. There's a timeline where someone says like, okay, we'll tone it down. And then they just make another RPG and it fades into obscurity, right? Like Dark Souls was fun because it was hard. And I think that the level of difficulty in the game helped us define what is now called a Souls-like game. So you've got to be careful that you don't over-index on what players are saying. And I think that in itself is a skill, knowing when you push back against this and when you acquiesce. Sharpen your axe 3 times before going into the woods. I haven't heard that before. Is it just about being prepared? All right, I think we're done with this part. So I opted for several different things here. Yeah. Now this is gigantic. Although actually, how many lines did it change by? No, it went up by a lot. It's plus 31 lines. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. I'm going to check it in though. Localize item data dot get tooltip description. So there are 2 conditional pieces of information, whether or not you have item stacking and whether or not you have shiny loot that can change the value text that shows. I opted to manifest 4 strings to make it clear for translators what's happening there. One for each combination of bools, which expanded the code quite a lot. But it's not like it expanded in a difficult to understand way. In fact, I think it actually got easier to understand. Like if you have both things, use this string and we plug in all the different components here. And the plugging in of components, because we have so many different parameters here, just takes a lot of lines. But it's not like it's complexity. They're just arguments. So yeah. All right, check that in. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Measure twice, cut once. Yeah, that I've heard before. You could also sharpen your axe 3 times before getting in there. I think it's sharpen your axe 3 times to make the ruler so that you can measure twice, so that you can cut once. And the question you might ask is, well, then how did you cut the ruler if you didn't measure, because you didn't have a ruler? And for that, I don't have a saying. Any scene files? Not sure if they're already. Yeah, okay, so this is done. Find every other string in the code base that needs to be translated. This will be annoying for all the formatted strings. Make sure you've gone through all the dialogues, greetings, etc. I think we've done this now. At some point, we just have to search for quotation marks and find it inside star.cs. And we have 11,000 results. And we would just look through every single result. It's only partially a joke. We actually do need some way of finding this. Another way we could potentially do this is with pseudo localization. But I am going to just kind of scroll through here and see, is there anything that stands out as us having done something wrong? So anything with translate, we could just ignore. Well, that might be on a line with another string. Yeah, like so far, these things look fine. In fact, I bet all the abilities are pretty much fine. Oh, this should not be there. All right, this is a different problem. This should be special strings dot not translated. Yeah. Any other debug function shouldn't be there. Whoa, what? Okay. Looks good. Looks good. Looks good. Yeah. I don't know how much time I want to spend on this, because this scroll bar is very tiny. Although I guess in any of these files, it's like we have what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So we got through 12 of the 10,000. So we really only have like 1,000 of these things to look through, which isn't the end of the world. Yeah, I'll do a little bit of this, because I want to see, is there any pattern that we can spot? But so far, everything's looked pretty good. Yeah. This is all fine. This is fine. Yeah, that's all good. Hooey. Yeah, here's an example. We use a negative number here, which I think that should be okay. But there are some cases where I add minuses and pluses, and I probably can't assume that's going to work in every language. Yeah, sure. Done after lunch. Well, we'll see. Is there a way to figure out how many lines we have on this thing? Yeah, so we're at about 12,000. So how about this? Let's just start. Let's keep track. 11,879. 11,879. And let's do this for like 10 minutes and just see how many we get through, because this might not actually be such a hard thing to do, especially not when they're all done already. If I found half of these that needed work done, then it'd probably be a different story. But yeah, so far I think we're looking fine. This is an exception. We don't care about exceptions. These things? Okay, hold on a second. This I don't care about. These I don't think I care about, but this I might. We might want to translate this. This is just a 2-string though. Maybe we don't care about that. Format number. Okay, I think all that's fine. Now what do we have over here? This should never appear in the game. Can we just say special strings dot not translated? Why is this not showing up? Yeah. And what's that other thing? Yeah, that's fine. This is for generated abilities. This is translated. Yep. Aha. Aha. We found a problem. The word's passive ability. We consider creating a script or programming something that would do that replacement for you or allow you to do it more efficiently. So the first thing I want to do is I want to manually search to see if there are patterns, because this might be just random strings. And unfortunately, it's difficult. Like we could find all non-translated strings in the code base. The problem is that some are intentionally not translated. So every once in a while we have like throw new exception, I don't know, file not found or something like that. This should never be translated, and yet it is an untranslated string. So we'd have to sift through this no matter what in some cases. And like in this case, we have passive ability. This does show to the player, so this should be translated. So using static Godot.translation server. This is going to be translate passive ability tooltips. And that didn't change the capitalization, did it? No. A small question. I'd like to have mock interview experience, but ChatGPT gives me easy questions. Any suggestions? There are mock interview services that are out there. If you just search for mock interview service online and maybe add something like not AI, you'll find them. Some you have to pay, some you get like one interview for free or something. Some are just communities of people. But remember, there's always that option of communities of people. If you have friends, if you know any past colleagues or, I don't know, people you studied with, you could always say, hey, do you have an hour? Could you do a mock interview for me? And maybe they say yes and save you the trouble of having to go through these services. All right, looking fine, looking fine. No tooltip defined. I don't think ever needs to be translated. Yeah, this is fine. We're good. Good. Oh, wait. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Yeah. All right. I mean, so far, so good. And as mentioned, I put a lot of time into the abilities already. So it makes sense that all the abilities are looking pretty good. And I don't think it's that hard to find any quotation marks in the ability file, because there are very few strings in there to begin with. Okay, so if we just looked at how many lines we have now, we're at 11,569. So we've gotten rid of 310 over the course of 4 minutes. And if we just did that, it'd be 2.5 hours of looking through every string. That's assuming that my pace doesn't decrease over time. Hey, neat job. Problem is that I do not know when I should focus on polishing a game. I've been focusing on core mechanics of the game. So how many people have played your game? Because I think that's going to give you a lot of answers to questions that you have here. So if the answer is like less than 2 people or less than 10 even, I think that polish is not a concern yet. I think if it's less than 10, the top concern should be people should try your game. And what I find to be best for people playing Skeleseller is get a video of them playing, or if you know them in real life, just have them sit down in front of you and play the game. But yeah, a video of them playing with them vocalizing their thoughts. You will learn so much from this. So much. And then once you have at least like 10 people who've played, I bet you will have a massive to-do list of like, okay, here are the things that we're confused by. Here's the stuff that wasn't balanced. This thing was too hard. Here are some bugs. And I think that'll give you more clarity on what you actually need to do. If for whatever reason, and this is unlikely if no one's played your game before, but if they're like, oh my God, this game is perfect. It's the best game I've ever played in my life. Then yes, polish is what you would need to work on. But the odds of you getting a massive to-do list from just even 10 people playing your game are pretty high. Can I ask, how did you market the game? I've done a lot of influencer outreach so far, but it hasn't been enough yet. I got to do more. Okay, so yeah, a couple high-level approaches we could do for this. One is the pseudo localization and then trying to look through every single string in the game anyway. And another is something like this, where we just look through every string in the code base. Yeah, also I should probably just stop deleting this and just scroll down. Save a tiny bit of time that way too. Oh, man. All right, yeah, abilities are looking fine so far. All right, I should just scroll through this a little bit faster. The places where I would not expect abilities to look good is where we might have had a number of seconds being formatted, but I think I already searched for all of those things. And I'm not seeing anything stand out here. In fact, maybe we should just skip over all the abilities. Or at least adventurer abilities. And if we ever do anything funky with column formatting, that could cause a problem. All right, I am seeing nothing so far. We did correct, what, 2 things? 3 things? So we're finding little bits here and there, but just not a lot. Again, what I'm doing right now is looking through every single string and seeing, was it translated? And if it's not, does it need to be? It's an incredibly boring, incredibly long problem. Hey, for next door. How risky is it to publish a game and then later down update the game according to feedback? I think it depends on what you consider your risk to be. So I think there are many different risks. One is a perception risk, which is like, I published a bad game and now I'm going to try to fix it. And look at something like No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky produced a game that was like overwhelmingly negative when it first launched, and now it's doing well. But how many games see overwhelmingly negative and then just die? Like what happened with Concord? What happened with, I don't know, any number of Steam games that just never recover from their reviews? So there's a perception risk. There's also like a data risk to some extent. So maybe people play the game for 5 hours and then you change something and it invalidates their save file. So now like they get frustrated. It's not a huge risk, and there are ways you can mitigate that too. What other risks? I guess wasting resources is one of the biggest risks. So the risk here is just you're making a product that no one wants, and you spend too long doing that. And I think this is probably like number 1, despite that I listed it last. So yeah, you spend whatever 2 years in isolation making a game. You release it. People are like, well, there's some good ideas here, but it's not really fully working. And like, had you released at 6 months to some people, they could have been like, oh man, I really like this part and this part. And then you go put some effort into that. No Man's Sky was putting really high hopes and they didn't deliver. I wouldn't say this applies to indie. Oh, this definitely applies to indie games. You can release a game and have poor perception around that game. It doesn't matter what you promised. It matters what people see at the end of it. So if you release a game and you haven't gotten feedback already, then you might get bad Steam reviews. And if you get bad Steam reviews, it's essentially a death knell for your game unless you overcome it with more resources. I did my validation stage on paper, made a paper version, had 5 people play it, was able to get input. Now everything is code. I think I'm going to do another round of playtesting. Yeah. The round of playtesting is so incredibly important, especially based on what you've said. I think the paper version is good, and I think that's will let you know that you can move past the design stage into coding. But now you want to know whether I should move past maybe some coding into polish. I think, yeah, make sure the game is fun, make sure there aren't a ton of bugs. Would you pay a publisher or give a % equity for it to be done by a third party? I don't think so. But remember, a lot of this stuff depends on the success of Skeleseller. If the game's not successful, it might be worth saying like, all right, well, let's get to testing this out sooner. I mean, this is why people pay for platforms to do anything. Like software as a service exists because a company has said, we don't have the resources to do this ourselves, or we don't want to allocate them to that. So you go pay another company 15 bucks a month, 50 bucks a month, and now you're getting off the ground faster, but now you have some cost. And enough of those costs build up and you don't have a product because you can't make it to completion. So if Scala Seller does like, yeah, well, it's, kind of moderately okay, and it's like I release another game and it's also kind of the same, it's like, yeah, maybe sure I go for publishers or something and be like, might as well save myself time if I'm already not going to be making a ton of money. And I can see this going both ways. It's just kind of comes down to what do you value at the end. All right. I'm seeing this on pretty much everything so far. Yeah. Ooh. This is the thing I meant about my pace dropping. So many of these are like name, description, name, description, because they're just all the standard ability templates. Some of them have conditionals that add some extra note or something. But yeah, in general, there's not too much there. We're not going to translate the JSON property names. That's okay. Those are intentionally not translated. Good. Yeah. Have a couple interesting game ideas and think of starting to make a game soon. Yeah, I think that's great. This is one of the things. I just watched Ready Player One again. I started yesterday and then finished this morning. And I've seen the movie before. I haven't read the book. But I think it's actually kind of inspiring in terms of just game dev. I think a lot of it has to do with just treating game dev as an art. Hey, Leave. I missed your message from 3 minutes ago. Sorry. I only really pay attention to Twitch chat a lot of the time. Did you try implementing games using JavaScript before, and what do you think about it? Yeah. The last big game I did was in JavaScript entirely. And what I think about it is never again. But really, the never again is to lack of static typing. I want static typing. Like, I will always use static typing now. It's just not worth the number of bugs you run into just due to types mismatching. And the few times, I think it can save you time when you're prototyping. Like, I guess I don't really have a problem with people. Not people. It's just for myself. I don't have a problem with myself even doing like a dynamically typed thing or like a 1 day long project sort of thing. And especially if you're dealing with, let's say, a JSON blob or something, it's kind of nice to not have to worry about types. But yeah, for practically everything else, if you want some confidence in your software, having types will grant so much more confidence. Okay. Yeah. I wonder if I would have even found the strings that I've changed so far, like that passive ability thing, if I'd used pseudo localization, because you need to look over everything. Maybe there's some way to set up pseudo localization so that it can just tell you when a string wasn't translated. I mean, you add markers to it, and then you can tell by the markers if it doesn't have it, it wasn't translated. But that still means you need to look at every single part of the UI. It's like you have to hover over every button and see, okay, do those markers show up? And then hover over every single skill, every single perk in the game, and look at every piece that you see. But yeah, I think looking through this entire thing, I don't know, how far have we gotten? We're down to 10,319. It's doable. It's not going to even take that long. I don't know. I don't want to just go through it this way. Hey, Grace, it's going pretty well. Still doing localization stuff. I still really want to try to translate some of the code using AI, and I just haven't gotten to the point where I can do that just yet. All right. It's a bunch of translate nothings. Oh, you know what we'll find pretty soon, though, is a bunch of things like this where Oh, actually, this isn't even translated. Oh, yes, it's just not highlighted correctly. We'll find a bunch of things where they're just regular strings. I don't even need to look at them. Like strings and comments, for example. This stuff's all fine. Yeah, so far the only there's no pattern that's shown up. It's just the word passive ability. Everything else is looking pretty much fine. Okay. Yeah, maybe I should just skip all the abilities. Okay. Yeah, let's skip the abilities. Let's just skip everything past player skills. That brings us down to here. Because I think the abilities are in your face enough where people will see them. Yep, here's all fine. That's good. That's fine. Yeah, so now we're getting to a lot of quotation marks that aren't for strings that are even rendered to the player. Like all of this file. Sound data. We can just get rid of all of this. This is probably like 1,000 lines. Same thing with this. Don't need any of this or that. Battle simulator doesn't show to the player. Yep, this looks fine. Stat computations, I don't think anything should show to the player there. Yeah, it doesn't. Oh, there's a problem. Look at that. We found one. Hey, Honest Dan. How's it going? Hi, Merlin. Honestly rating. You bless the rains down in Africa. Well, welcome in. Hi, everyone. We're working on Skeleseller, and I have a new... Oh, wait. What's the command? I think it's short trailer. Yeah. All right. I'll paste this in the chat, but I will also just show it on stream. Hey, Jerem. All right, check this out. Whoops. I did not mean to click settings. Hang on. Let me hide my keyboard camera so you can actually see this. All right. So here's our 15-second long trailer of the game I'm working on. And that's it. Doing the 15-second trailer for Jitspo. Yep. Exactly. So that actually made me do this. What's this notification? Hey, Jesse Skinner followed me. Am I following Jesse? Yes, I am. Cool. So yeah, dev's going pretty well. I've been working on localization for a while. And it's just a lot of this. It's like look through this thing and then call translate on this. And this will say floating text, I think. Is that a thing that I did? Floating text. Wait, no. What? Huh. Hang on one sec. It's not pluralized? I guess because... Okay, sure. And then did we include the translation server? No. Using static Godot.translation server. I'd really, really like to start VS Code to fix this problem. But by doing so, I'm going to lose these search results. And they won't operate the same way. And that's why I haven't done anything about this. What are those mini combat windows at the bottom? Not sure I'd seen those properly before. Those have been there for a pretty long time. Although they may not have been like proper windows. But yeah, that's where battles happen. So you can start these up. You can undock them. You can make them larger or smaller. And yeah, they just show you what battles you're doing and what loot you might have gotten. And you can like change your battle party and stuff through there. Love the keyboard. Thank you. Yeah, it's a corn keyboard. I like it a lot. And hey, Conrad. Yeah. A long time ago, they looked like this without the formatting around them. So they were just like little views into the battles. But yeah, now they're like proper windows. And actually, at one point, Kevin prototyped what they'd be if you turn them into OS windows. So you could actually like pull the window out of here and put it over here on the side or something. We don't really have a need for that in Skeleseller. But if we were making a game like Rusty's Retirement or something where it's supposed to be played alongside your desktop, then it might be nice. Anyway, we're doing something very boring here. We are going through every single string in the code base and just making sure that it was translated or not translated appropriately. So yeah, this is a very, very boring process. And oh, hey, here's another problem. Wow, we found a couple of these actually. In fact, now we should probably search for create floating text. So this is a pattern that's starting to emerge. Lots of problems with create floating text not being translated. Conclusions. I was wondering if you create multiple windows from a game. Never knew a way to do that. Yeah, it is possible. And I think that I've seen some games use that as a selling point. A lot of the idle games will be essentially Chrome around your desktop. But then there was some game where the whole point was to have a bunch of windows on your OS and like there's like ships shooting bullets at each other or something. I don't know how I'd even find that. Let me take a look. Steam game, many OS windows. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to find that. Oh man. Yeah, I was just trying to find it off screen. If game is out of view, do new window game. Never let you close it. Okay, so this one is about mental swiftness. Translate this floating text. And then do we have, no, we don't. Using, oh, nice. Okay, cool. These were already done correctly. All of those are done correctly. No problem there, no problem there. Timed effect is just in comments. All difficulty data. None of this was translated. All right, let's add that to the list. All difficulty data. I'm not going to do this now. I'm just trying to find all the strings for now. These are just exceptions, comment. These are already translated. Nothing. Ooh, none. Look at that. Another problem. Translate none. Okay, we're finding a few issues here and there. Not coded, should be overridden. Yeah, I don't care about that stuff. All of this is translated. Yep. Yeah, that's translated. Okay. I saw the word level. I started freaking out. Oh God, this is the worst. Definitely the worst. Okay, we're looking good there. That's already been done. Done. All of these are finished. How many more characters do we have? I want to see that we're actually getting through this to some extent. Whoops, what am I doing? 8660. Oh yeah, we deleted a lot when I got rid of the sound data and the ability stuff. Honest Dan, I don't know if you're still there, but how's all your stuff going? What have you been working on lately? Fish worth less. Yeah, all this stuff is going fine. Yeah, by the way, the reason I've got this in my today command for anyone new here, but the reason I'm focusing on this stuff on stream is because I want to spend the time doing this over everything else, since I have AI credits that expire on the 4th and it's the 2nd, and I'd like to use them to see if I can do some translation with this. This we're not going to translate because it really shouldn't be in the game. Everything else looks like it's fine here. Yeah. Good, cool. Still here. Stuff is good. As usual, find it hard to stream on Twitch, but been doing so this week because my annual charity jam. Going good. Just crossed 1,000 pounds. Oh, nice. Nice. Hey, do you have like a contact at the charity that is like, oh, thank goodness you do this? Do they ever drop in on the stream? Money symbol, elite symbol. Okay, this needs to be changed, right? What is this? Music interval options? Yeah. Okay, I'll write this down. Any other strings in this file that need to be translated? G definitely has to be. Still don't know what we're doing about that. These things I don't really care about. Yeah. Okay. Wait, why didn't... Oh, it did show up. I mean, chickens with hats joined from a lobby and joined a multiplayer game. It works on Steam. Oh, nice. Awesome. Yeah, I'll take a look at this later. Yeah, I'm very fascinated by multiplayer stuff that people do well. I've always wanted to make like a proper real-time multiplayer game and just always found it difficult. This is all good. All these should just be colors and stuff. Yeah. Could you AI translate it and have a native speaker proofread it? Yeah. Yep. Exactly. That's the plan. I speak to the people directly at the charity. They're good in fairness and reach out when they see I'm doing an event. Nice. Yeah. That's good. And hey, Headache. Do you use home row mods on your keyboard? No. I do use mods on the home row, but not home row mods. So home row mods in my mind are you press a key and it types a key, and then you hold a key and it does something like shift. And I do not like dual function keys like that. So instead, I have my mods in a layer, and they are still on the home row. So if I want to press like Control Alt Shift whatever command, then I can. Well, I wasn't even in the right layers. I did that. I can do this, and now they're all pressed, and I can press something like. Well, actually, I don't know what it's going to do if I do anything. So let's just not do that. And if I turn on the lights, you'll see it, I guess. So here I can press this, and now 4 mods are on, which is why this is all lit up over here. Hang on, I'm trying to angle this correctly. There we go. And then if I press space, it will turn them all off. So yeah, I use one-shot mods and just not on the home row. Do you do like that for the annoying delay? Yeah. I've always been bothered by that. Using the gem to build confidence in how to build a lobby and have persistent data between levels. So not a fun game, but maybe I'll have fun to make it fun. Yeah, I think learning about multiplayer stuff before doing it like that, I think is a really good idea. And yeah, if I were to make something fun for multiplayer for my first thing, I'd probably make like a very tiny game that's already pretty well known. Maybe even something like Pong. Although I guess it's not probably super interesting. There's a game, what was that game called? Hang on, let me look this up. I don't know how to search for this. It's that game where you have a bunch of, people probably will know what I'm talking about. But it's a game where you have a bunch of planets, and the planets have a size, like 4 or 17. And you could send ships to another planet, and by conquering it, based on the size of the planet, you would get more population to be able to send your ships elsewhere. And this is the whole game. It was just circles and little triangles moving around. So you'd go to different planets. I don't remember what it's called, though. But that might also be kind of an interesting multiplayer game to make that isn't, like, super complex. I'm not suggesting you should do that stuff. I'm just saying I think it's like a nice mix between still learning and doing something that it resembles a game at the end. Unity just revealed a bunch of streamlined multiplayer stuff. Oh, neat. Yeah. All right. Cheats we are not going to localize at all because cheats should not be available to the player. Same thing with debug, draw screen, and all this stuff. What is this? This never shows up. Yeah, this should never show up. All enemy data. We don't have any localizable stuff in here. No. We don't. This is all just printed stuff. Okay, nice. Yeah, a lot of just large swaths of things we can ignore, which is good. Yeah, this we can ignore. This is what, a 2-string? Yeah, this should never matter. What's that? Also a 2-string? Yeah, that should never matter either. This is, yeah, all the 2 strings are for debugging. That's why I don't care that these aren't localized. This is fine. This is good. Okay, what do we have over here? Aha, more problems. Okay, so yeah, create floating text must have just evaded my detection. This is Godot with C#? Yes, it is. Yep. Gotta go stretch legs. Oh my God, I need to stretch my legs too. Thank you for the raid, Honestan, and best of luck if you're doing more charity stuff. I hope you enjoy your December. Thanks for dropping by. All right, so oh wait, this is a node, isn't it? It is a node, so we can use tr. tr floating text. And there's one more down here. Okay, any others? I guess we'll find them in here. It's fine. Battler name, that's fine. Yeah, all that's fine. Going daily to late Sunday. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, good luck. I'm going to need it with this. I've spent so long on this already. Yeah. These are all translated. Good. Extensions. We got nothing there. Nothing here. Really? Skip? That wasn't translated? Okay. Do we have... We don't even have it. Using static translation server. Translate this. And this is a button. Yeah, so we're finding the odd string here and there. Like, would I have found these myself with pseudo localization? I have no idea. Like, here's another one. Poison. It's not translated. Intro scene base presumably is a node. Yeah. So then we can TR this thing. And this is floating text. This actually might exist in another case in the code base. Yeah, it does. All right, so poison should be consolidated. Poison, comma, floating text. Shows up in several places and should be consolidated. Okay, well, we are finding the odd string here and there. Yep. Intro shop. Okay, that's translated. That's all fine. That's translated. Scalification. Excuse me, I had the hiccups and I'm trying to laugh. It's almost lunchtime. Yeah, I'll do as much more of this as I can stand. And then I'm going to get lunch. And then that's probably it for the day. What keyboard is this? This is a corn keyboard. I'll link in the keyboard command here and on YouTube. Yeah, so for those who've never seen this and maybe are too shy to ask about this, it's a 36 key keyboard. And if you were to just think of what's on your keyboard in terms of what do you type, you probably type all of the alphabet. That's 26 letters in English. And you probably type all the different numbers. That's 10 numbers. And then you're already at 36 keys. So like, how do you type a space? How do you type a comma? How do you type a parenthesis or something? And that's where you generally use layers for all this stuff. Classic example is you don't have an exclamation mark key on your keyboard. You type shift and then 1. And that makes one do a different thing. So I have a whole bunch of shift keys on my keyboard. I have one for typing numbers. I have one for typing symbols. I have one for navigating and pressing page up and page down and doing all sorts of stuff. So that's it. That's a quick overview of the keyboard. Hey, TJ. All right, this stuff doesn't show to the user. This isn't needed. Translate max, translate that. Looks good. Building strings, this entire file is translated. Nice. And this entire file. So actually all of these things we're going to delete a whole lot. And we already have confidence that they're translated. Text formatting, same thing. Yep, same thing. This is all debug. Exceptions, paths. All item data, every single thing in here should be translated. And this is one of probably the largest files in terms of number of quotation marks. Yeah, so we can delete every single one of those. Exception, that's fine. These are all comments, comments, comments. Okay, this I just changed myself. All right, how much are we down to now? 5894. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. It's almost been an hour. We've cut down by like half of these. I don't know if we're going to have any other big gimmies here of just like files that can be deleted and not looked at. Is that the fastest keyboard thing with a few keys that is? Oh, it was, oh my God, why am I forgetting the name now? Stenography? Yes, stenography keyboards. No, it's not. On those, so on any sort of steno keyboard, you typically have like less than even 20 keys, I think. And a lot of you're typing syllables and then you have some software to like correct for the language and maybe the setting that you're in. And there you can type like super fast. That generally takes quite a lot of time to learn. And I don't know, I'm guessing people do it, but I don't know how you use steno keyboards for coding. And I'm already deep enough in this rabbit hole. I'm probably not going to try one of those. I'd love to try it just for the sake of interest. But yeah, I don't think I'd want to like daily drive that keyboard. Do you struggle with normal keyboards? No, not really. Yeah, your brain tends to just switch. And I've been using this keyboard for about 4 years, and I've been using a normal keyboard for the rest of my life. So when I go back to a normal keyboard, I'm sometimes like, man, this is sometimes easier to type than it is on my keyboard. But then whenever I do other things, I'm like, oh, it's actually kind of easier on the Corn. That's kind of a toss up. What happened here? Oh yeah, I see. All right, we can close out all those other tabs. Yeah, so like this is a problem here. Right click to drop. This should be translated. This is a node, so we can like TR. And this is a tooltip. Okay, so there was another problem. Any other problems in here? Nope, that was the only one. That's fine. Metrics uploader, I don't care about any of this stuff. Oh, wow. Look at that. Quest shows up. That's another problem. Interesting. Quest total value. Okay, so we should do a oh, we can't do this. I gotta type it out manually because everything's broken over here. Translate quest 0 quest total value, and there's a new line. Yeah, perfect. And let's make sure that this matches. Quest colon that. Yep, cool. Okay. Hey, lazy dev. Caracoder quarter. I think I've seen what you're talking about here. What is this? Oh no, I have seen this, but this is yeah. You know, one of the things that I think is unfortunate about if you ever do like hardware like this, the odds of it sticking around are pretty low. I used to use something called the War Mouse. I really like this thing. It had a joystick on the side. It had like a whole bunch of face buttons on it. And yeah, this was like my first crazy mouse that I had. But you just can't find one anymore. And no one's ever going to make one of these again. So if you liked this, then too bad. Unless you bought, 14 of them when it first came out. And even then, you'll probably run into software issues at some point. I remember that. Yeah, I had that. I really like that. I went from the War Mouse to the Cyborg MMO7. This mouse is also pretty crazy. Yeah, I don't think they make this anymore either, although maybe they do. And I went from that to this mouse that I'm using, and I've had a lot of these. I really like the G600. And most importantly, so it's got all the side buttons that you see in the picture, but then this button is a shift button. So when you hold this, it now changes all your side buttons to a different function. So instead of just having 12 buttons, it's like you have 24 on here. So like I can press this key to do tab to the right, but then I can press it with the shift button and now it's just the right arrow. So I love that feature, and it doesn't really exist in that way on any other mouse. Like Corsair has something that's kind of sort of similar, but not really. The Razer Naga does something through software. But yeah, this is like on the mouse itself. It's emitting a different key code. And they discontinued this. Don't know why. Very annoyed that they did that though. Yeah. And I mentioned this just yesterday, I think, but you can still buy discontinued products, of course. It's just you're going to pay an incredible premium. So like if you bought this mouse off of eBay, I think it'd be $300 probably. Now, is using the mouse that I prefer worth $300? I don't think so, because you're also still kind of just kicking the can down the road. Like mice don't last forever. And even this, I can't really show it, but there's like rubber on the side and it's worn down to nothing. Coating on your mouse would be pretty crazy. So I have a video I like sharing every once in a while, which was me typing on a piano. And I did try coding on this. It is not fun or easy. But yeah, anyway, if anyone wants to watch that video, it's in chat. All right, so what do we have here? Game saver. Game saved is translated. That's good. Loading is printed. Exception, exception, exception. Yeah, everything's fine there. That's fine. It's fine. Don't care. None of this should even show to the player. Yeah. Yeah, I don't care about any of those things. This I care about. This is not translated. TR. Dialogue descriptions. And this really should not have the center text here. It should be string.format. Center 0. Center. Okay. And then we delete it from this. Oh, wait, it doesn't have to be translated. Had the issue with headphones. Always buy in bulk now because of the constant cycle of finding something you like and then it gets discontinued. Man. Yeah. I don't know if I even mind it for really anything else. Like if, I don't know, my USB hub had a different version out, I'd be like, whatever, it's a USB hub. I don't really care. And this keyboard I made myself, so I'm kind of immune to that, I suppose. But the mouse, I just missed the mouse. Did it make sounds while you're typing? Yeah. Hey, Ralph. First of all, your nuke emote is my most used emote on Twitch this year. Really? I wish I had your work ethic when working from home long term, especially when the project's nearing the end. I think for that, the stream really does a lot of heavy lifting. Like if I didn't stream this, I probably wouldn't be working as much. So you're a gadget guy? I mean, at least when it comes to computer peripherals, I like the mouse and keyboard that I use. The other things on my desk, in terms of what you could call gadgets, I have an audio interface. I have headphones. Oh my God, I can't type. Headphones. I have a desk light or like a streamer light. And I guess I have a Switch controller. What else? And then I have like the computers itself and the hubs that I use. Those don't really count. Those are kind of needed to use my computer. The hub, I mean. And yeah, that's it. The monitors and I guess my phone. So those are the gadgets I have in my immediate vicinity. And these are like normal gadgets. The streamer light for streamers at least is pretty normal. 3D printed a mouse shape exactly to fit his hand. He did mold of his hand and 3D printed around it. Yeah, people do this for a keyboard called the Dactyl Manuform. And this keyboard looks nuts. It especially looks nuts when you see it like this and you're like, well, how do I even, where do I put my hand? I am very intrigued by this idea and I like the look of this keyboard. But I don't have a 3D printer and I didn't want to somehow get the measurements wrong and then have a keyboard I can't use. So if you have a 3D printer, you could just do a couple test runs and keep tweaking it. But yeah. Yeah, this is pretty interesting. I don't know how I would feel to type on it. It's probably, I mean, like this looks pretty comfortable, right? And having a trackball there would probably be pretty nice. Upgrade option, upgrade button, looks good. Clickable area. You know, thanks to syntax highlighting, this task is just so much easier. I can only imagine doing this in something like the original notepad.exe. Not that anyone would, but just seeing green and being like, okay, that's a string. And I look at the string and I see it's surrounded by gray, so I know to just ignore it. I don't even need to read it. These are all translated. Translated. An error I don't care about. Mana's translated. Rainbow stuff. Yeah, nice. This is all looking good. Yep, fine. Oh, hey, there's a problem. Is there any other problem in this file? No, just that one. Huh, interesting. Click a spell. Okay, we should have what, TRs here? Yeah. All right, so /n plus TR. Maybe we just say spells for this or something, or enchanter. Yeah. Okay. This is why we're doing this. Yeah, sure, we're finding one string out of every like 2,000 lines that we're looking through, but I gotta find them. Stuff's all translated. Yep, nice. Okay, so now we're getting into the stuff that should already be done. And so far, so good. Yep. It's all fine. Oh, click to harvest. Yeah, that's all looking good. Okay. All right, what are we down to now? 4906. All right, I'll go for like 15 more minutes. We've already trimmed down to... Oops, I didn't mean to do that. 4906 divided by... We're at 41% of the remaining lines. You have any tips or suggestions? Oh, yeah, tons. I have a video and I have a blog post. Yeah, so this and this one. Okay, so yeah. Pick your poison if you want to read or you want to watch. If I boil it down to just one piece of advice, it'd pretty much just be watch your own streams and see what you would change about it. This all looks fine. Oh boy, we're getting into scenes now, which means we're going to have a lot of, not really false positives, but just a lot of strings showing up. This is fine. This is fine. This is all wrong. Huh. How did I miss this? I missed what? Guild sign? So if I turned on pseudo localization and we ran the game and I were to click build guild, we would see this, but this only shows during the tutorial. And I probably, I don't know, just skip the tutorial every time. At some point, I'm going to play through the whole game from scratch a bunch of times, and we'll hopefully find any of the strings that I somehow missed even through all these processes. But yeah, this is like the last bastion for localization, I think. Just making sure we got every single string in the code base. Man. What a trek. Hey, Bad Chris. Just switched over from TV. Need to log a chat. Otherwise, I apparently don't count as a viewer. I don't know how it does this on TVs. I wonder, yeah, I don't know. Is it still the plan to launch Skeletor in 2025? Yeah, I think March is going to be when we launch. Keep well, enjoy all the knowledge you. Wait. Is that the right word, right? Impart. That's what you're looking for. Yeah. Yeah, anyway. Sorry, there's a like a little mini game I used to play where there would be a string typed incorrectly online. Maybe it would be something like, I have a hard time, I don't know, like ingesting that or something. That's a bad example. Anyway, every once in a while there'd be the wrong word typed and it would sort of poison you toward thinking, I don't know what the correct word is anymore. Like, it makes it harder to see it when it's wrong. Interesting. This needs to be translated. Or notifications. In fact, I think there's a create ephemeral notification I just modified and I put the wrong thing in there. They should all be notifications. Yeah, it looks like they all are. Sorry, I'm trying to do this in a subpar way because I'm... What's this? Oh, yeah, because I'm trying not to get rid of any context that I had. Oh, man. Okay, yeah, I think everything's fine. Message. Yeah, cool. Okay. Oh, no. Sorry. I was only focusing on that because I just thought it was humorous, not because I was trying to call you out. I'm sorry. I was looking for the right word for roof of your mouth earlier today. Is it roof? Is it mouth ceiling? Is it just top of your mouth? Colloquially, people would say the roof of your mouth, but I think the official term is your palate. More specifically, hard and soft palate from front to back. right, so this is good. Yeah. Wait. Yeah, I did this, right? Yeah, I did this. Okay, looks good. This we just spent a bunch of time doing, although what is this? 2-string? Yeah, that's fine. Oh, look at that. Open and close. Oh, those are sounds. That's fine. Or animations, it doesn't matter. Either way, it's not something the player sees. Yeah, this is all okay. Looks good. Looks good. Loading. Loading was never localized? Huh. More important knowledge. It grows. All right, so TR loading, and we want a percent sign to show up. How do we do this? String dot format. Where'd the percent sign go? What did I do? What? How do we? I I don't think this string was ever correct. There was no argument there. How? No, something doesn't add up. Oh, we're literally formatting 0 to be okay. This is supposed to be loading 0%. I see. I don't think I like that. Okay, my bad. I understand what's going on. All right, so this is a 0%. Yeah, this is not how we should do this. So how about this? I'll just save this for later. Yeah, I'll just revert this whole line and I'll just write it down for later once my actual VS Code is working. All right, so loading screen ready. We need to translate loading. The first call shows 0%, but I only want one string to show in the translation file. Hey, Corpsey. Such a short story of my life. Does it use a metric system or inches, or do those formats not appear in the game? There are no units that I think you would need to localize. So that like nothing like inches or centimeters or something. Because the units we do have are things like gold and wisdom sludge. Gold's not made up, but in a fantasy world, as a currency, might as well be made up. Wisdom sludge is made up. And what else do we have? I mean, normal things like time, seconds, minutes. I'm trying to think if there are any other units we have. Yeah, just made up things like perk points, for example. So yeah, nothing we need to localize. Just translate. All right, so I'm going to ignore this, even though we have work to do there, because I put it on my list now. This is fine. 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 Cool. Oh, click to dismiss. This is wrong. Needs to be translated. Oh man. Okay, fine. String dot format. So color equals gray 0 / color. That's not how any of this works. Oh man. TR. No. That's correct. Yeah, what am I doing? This is correct. And let me just TR this thing. Click to dismiss. And this might as well be a button, but it's not really a button. It's just text that shows underneath the notification. It's a perfectly respectable measurement where I come from. Wow, you must have a lot of wisdom sludge in you then. To be so wise. All right, everything here is looking fine. All this is good. This is good, but it doesn't look good. But it is. We're not translating the question marks. I think that's okay. These were not translated. I wonder how I missed this. Yeah, interesting. Okay, those are now done. Feed item slime, cool. Yeah, nice. Oh, what is this? Shopkeep doesn't have anything translated. Okay, let's write that down too. Shopkeep.cs. All right, let's ignore that for now though. November 29th, 2016. Wow. Yeah. God, the old days. If I could go back until 2016, Adam something, what would I say? Probably say eat the wisdom sludge. No, honestly, what I think I would tell myself is how important product market fit is. Like, there was some incarnation of Botland that probably would have done well, and finding it was the important thing. And I don't know. The thing is, if I say the most important thing is find product market fit, you still need processes that let you do that. And the problem is I was making a multiplayer game, so pivoting in the middle of it is really tough because it's not just, oh, go make a game mechanic. It's like, go make a game mechanic and then sync it across all of the players somehow, which meant like make the backend for it. And in this case, it was go modify a database. Okay, now write a migration between your current schema and the new schema, blah, blah, blah. There's just a bunch of stuff there. So I would have needed to probably test it as a single player game with that you're playing against bots and then make a multiplayer game. You'd buy Bitcoin. Yeah. Buy Bitcoin. Invest in some in Nvidia. You went back to Google or something? Yeah. I did. So it was Botland for about 5 years. And then I did Adam Learns content for like 3 months. And then it was Google for 3 years. And then it's been back to this. Just Scala Seller. It's supposed to be turn-based, but they decided to change it mid-development. Yeah, and it's a good thing they did. It's a good thing they did. Yeah, there were some pivots in Botland that were really monumental. It actually started as a real-time game, which makes no sense. I don't know what I was thinking when I came up with that. But imagine that there's a battle taking place on the right half of your screen, and on the left half of the screen, you're like frantically writing code like fire lasers, right, and then move up and whatever else, and then seeing that your strategy's not working and like copy pasting a different script. Again, don't know what I was thinking. And then we changed it to the asynchronous multiplayer, which worked a lot better for it. Like so much better. But yeah, that was one of those things where it's like, I should have figured that out sooner. And it shouldn't have taken me like a month to pivot. It should have just been like, oh yeah, this isn't going to work. I guess it's because of the history of the game. We had it as an infinite real-time game. And when it's infinite, you don't feel frantic because you know you have an endless amount of time to work on this thing. So yeah, now I realize that looking back, but at the moment I did not realize it. All right, I'm starting to get very hungry. How much did we get through? 3948. Okay, well, in about an hour, we cut out most of this list. So I do have a bunch of other things to look through now. Man. Yeah, I'll do this after lunch. Because if you look at how many files we've changed, it's this many. I know I'm blocking some of my head, but that's what searching through 8,000 lines of this stuff did, is it found a few issues. Better I find them than a player finds it. An unfortunate Korean or Chinese player or French player who'd be like, what is this English string? This developer hates me. So yeah, I don't want them thinking that. I love all of my players. All right, let's write down in the journal. worked on localization, started looking through every string in the code base to find issues to fix, and did find many. Oh, by the way, I guess that's not totally fair. I said, hey, we fixed all of these. We also identified another several locations that I need to fix. I still am not sure if I can get this done today. And if I can't, then tomorrow's the last day. And then the 4th happens and all my credits reset. But I need food. I really badly need food right now. It's like all I'm thinking about. So I will go raid somebody. Okay, let's go raid Anthony Raids Code. He's doing Advent of Code, and he just started for today. Raid. All right, well, thank you all for watching. I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow should be a full day. And I'm hoping it's not localization, but I can't make any promises. But yeah, thank you all for being here. Hope you have a good one, and see ya. Also, no afternoon stream, FYI.